Chapter 63. Beauty, so beautiful that people love you, I don't know where you come from, you exist for us, I ask you not to leave. Beauty, so beautiful that people love you, it was Meng-Er who sent you, you exist for us, don't hurt my heart. The cheerful and enthusiastic prelude, full of exotic style, mixed with the atmosphere of Latin, West Asian nomads and Bohemia, made all the people who heard this song for the first time feel their ears stand up. It was like tasting a glass of sweet wine, and the wonderful taste bloomed on the tongue. The unique melody, coupled with simple and straightforward lyrics, had a kind of charming charm. Lu Qin held the guitar and sang the song Beauty, with a very relaxed manner and movements. He was like a bard in Azeroth, sending a love song to Kellyanne in the bar of the Skyline Hotel in Shotrath. This new song also fully revealed his profound attainments in playing the guitar. The combination and use of various complex fingering techniques appropriately displayed the style of the string rhythm, which was breathtaking. Beauty, the world changes too fast, is your beauty still there? We'd better not linger, we'd better not wait foolishly. Beauty, the world changes too fast, is your beauty still there? We'd better grasp the present, ask you if you understand. In the video of the live broadcast, Chinger Baby held her cheek with her hand, and her beautiful big eyes did not blink. She listened to the song that she had never heard before very seriously. Her pretty face showed a happy and moved look, just like Kellyanne who was kissed, but with a little more embarrassment and shyness. Lu Qin sang very happily. This song was not originally in his song list. Like Fly Higher, it was temporarily taken out by him to fit the occasion. It was perfect to tease this beautiful woman. After the song Beauty was finished, a lot of barrage and fish balls were brushed on the screen again. It's so good. Beauty, so beautiful that people love you, I ask you not to leave. Lyrics, why are there no lyrics? I want to learn to sing it to my girlfriend. It's very bohemian style, the anchor is so talented. I feel that other people's methods of picking up girls in the past were too low. They should all learn from Lu Feda. Together. 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 I like this song more than Love in the Wind and Cinderella. Like +1, Chinger Baby clapped her hands and said with a smile, it's really nice. Thank you Lu Feda. I hope I can hear such a good song again next time. Chinger is going back. Goodbye. To be the first female anchor of Whale TV, Chinger Baby is not just beautiful and can sing. She is a very smart girl who is good at seizing opportunities and acting appropriately. Although the interaction with Lu Qin was just a spur of the moment, it was undoubtedly very important to maintain and increase her popularity by creating some appropriate hot topics. However, she shrewdly controlled the pace and did not linger in Lu Qin's live broadcast room. Otherwise, the fans of the Mermaid Knights would be dissatisfied. Now was the right time to return. She wanted to make those flower protectors who threw money occasionally feel jealous but not too jealous. The sense of propriety was not something that ordinary people could accurately grasp. Chinger Baby undoubtedly did an excellent job. Goodbye. Lu Qin put down his guitar and waved at the other party. Perhaps because they were all in the same industry, Lu Qin guessed the thoughts of Chinger Baby. But there was nothing bad about it because everyone got what they wanted. As for playing and singing Beauty, and making this beauty fall in love with him, that was just thinking too much. So when Chinger Baby returned to her live broadcast room and dozens of reward prompts were synchronized on the screen, Lu Qin just smiled faintly. Lu Qin's attention is no longer on the other party, because his popularity has just ushered in a new explosive growth. 916, Whale TV, Lu Fei Live Broadcast Room Online Popularity, 1036210. This is the first time that Lu Qin's popularity has exceeded the 1 million mark since he started his live broadcast. Although he borrowed the east wind of Chinger Baby, it is undoubtedly a celebratory event for Lu Fei's live broadcast room. It must be known that 1 million popularity means that he has reached the level of a real first-line anchor, and he is not far from the top level. It has been less than a month since Lu Qin started broadcasting Whale TV. It is undoubtedly a miracle that he has broken through 1 million popularity so quickly. His follower count also soared, and the increase was so great that it was astounding. 723,625. 1 minute ago, the homepage's site-wide hot list was updated for the 5th time since the start of the PK live show. Lu Qin climbed from 11th place to 5th place, jumping 6 places in one breath. Of course, Lu Jejun's fans did not ignore such huge progress and sent congratulatory messages one after another. Congratulations to the anchor for breaking through 1 million popularity. Haha, we are ranked 5th on the hot list, long live Lu Feda, long live Lu Jejun. Take the top 5, hit the top 3, we are the champion. Everyone hurry up, those who have fish balls send fish balls, those who don't have fish balls send a barrage, the more the better. Top 5 is definitely no problem, I'm so happy. The people of Beijing send a congratulatory message. The people of Chong and send a congratulatory message. The people of Hu City send a congratulatory message. The people of Hong Kong send a congratulatory message. The people of Xiangnan. The live broadcast room was in full swing and Lu Chen was of course very happy. Even if his popularity fell below 1 million with the departure of Chinger Baby, there were still countless viewers who stayed and continued to watch his live broadcast. This is already a huge victory. Thank you very much for your support. Then the following song is dedicated to our desk mates when we were students. You at the same table, I hope everyone likes it. After the ups and downs of the previous storm, Lu Chen's graduation season PK theme show is back on track. He sent his 7th song You at the Same Table. This work is undoubtedly a model of campus folk songs. Although Lu Chen has sung it many times in the live broadcast, there are still many people who have not heard it. Whether it is people who have heard it or people who have heard it for the first time, they are all impressed by Lu Chen's talent. Love in the Wind, The Brother Who Slept on My Upper Bunk, Cinderella, The Bright Times of Youth, Fly Higher, Beauty, and now, You at the Same Table, all of which are Lu Chen's original works. If he adds a few more songs he can make a complete album, and the most admirable thing is that, except for Fly Higher, the style, melody and lyrics of these songs are quite unified and coordinated, perfectly matching the theme of graduation season, showing a deep creative foundation. In Whale TV, there are many anchors who can play and sing. Some play very professionally, some sing very well, some are original and some are more handsome than Lu Chen, but to be able to create so many excellent works, play and sing very well and look handsome, there is really no one else. Even in the current entertainment industry, Lu Chen is also a first-class or even top talent. He just hasn't become famous yet. Among the nearly 1 million viewers in the live broadcast room, there are many people who understand music. They got to know Lu Chen here, heard his songs and fell in love with his songs. Naturally they became loyal fans. Tian, just like the waves washing the sand, gold will always shine brightly. When Lu Chen finished singing You at the Same Table, and dedicated the last song of the night, Blue Lotus, the senior executives of Whale TV, who have been paying attention to the PK live show, couldn't sit still. Deep Sea City High-Tech Park, B3 Building, 15th floor, Whale Technology Company Headquarters Conference Room. The wall facing south was filled with high-definition screens. All the screens were displaying images of different live broadcast rooms. There were exactly 24 of them. A huge projection screen hung on the east wall, showing the video of Lu Fei's live broadcast room. Nothing can stop your yearning for freedom, your unconstrained life, your heart has no worries. Through the gloomy years, I once felt hesitant. Lu Chen's singing through the high-fidelity sound arranged at the scene was clearly transmitted to the ears of the company's senior executives, such as the general manager, deputy general manager, live broadcast director and department manager, who were sitting in front of the conference table. They either looked at each other or whispered. Note, Beauty Lyrics/Composer, Gao Feng. Chapter 64. What do you think of this new anchor? Fang Xiaohui dropped the pen in his hand, and the shaft of the pen rolled half a meter away along the smooth table. The projection on the wall was fixed at the moment when Lu Chen put down the guitar after singing Blue Lotus. His eyes swept across the faces of all the company executives present, and the meaning was difficult to understand. Tonight's PK theme show is the biggest promotional activity of Whale TV in half a year. It was also set up by Fang Xiaohui, the general manager, with a total investment of more than 5 million yuan. Although the project and funds are not large, as a famous young general in the industry, Fang Xiaohui hopes to use this event to enhance the popularity and morale of Whale TV, as a cushion before the revival of the past glory. So in the evening, all the executives gathered in the conference room to pay attention to the progress of the PK theme show. The performances of 24 anchors are about to end, and there will be someone who stands out. A senior executive hesitated for a moment and said, "This anchor, whose real name is Lu Chen, should be the biggest highlight. I think we should give him a better contract." In front of them, there is a detailed information about the participating anchors. Lu Chen is actually an ordinary signing plus 50,000 signing fee, which is obviously not in line with his current popularity. Fang Xiaohui nodded expressionlessly. Another high-ranking official said, "His songs are very good. Are they really original?" Immediately, the manager of the brokerage department explained, "They are really original. I didn't believe it at first, the 30-year-old white-collar woman praised Lu Qin. We have checked in the Greater China Music Library. All the song copyrights are under his name. He is a very talented young man. I also think that we should give him a contract and promote him to a larger market. After Fang Xiaohui took charge of Whale TV, he intended to spread the platform's anchor resources to a larger field and set up a corresponding entertainment company. The main responsibility of the brokerage department is to find out new stars worth cultivating. The big entertainment industry is the real big cake, and of course the competition is the most fierce. Whale TV does not have the intention to fight with people immediately, but to make reasonable use of its own resources and earn more and greater benefits is undoubtedly the company's strategic goal in the future. Their biggest competitor, Starlight Show, was already doing the same thing, and it was doing very well. A smile appeared on Fang Xiaohui's face. The brokerage manager keenly noticed the change in his expression and continued, "We can customize projects for him, buy all his creative copyrights, produce an album of works, and package him as a gifted idol." "Manager Wang, please wait," she talked endlessly about her plan. Just as she was beaming with joy and excitement, a voice suddenly came from the side and abruptly interrupted her. Manager Wang was as unhappy as she could be, but the one who interrupted her was Wu Hongming, the head of the operations department, so she could only suppress her displeasure and force a smile. "Manager Wu, what do you think?" Wu Hongming was one of the founders of Whale TV and a senior figure in Whale technology. Although Manager Wang was Fang Xiaohui's confidant, she could not ignore Wu Hongming's opinion. Wu Hongming asked in a deep voice, "How much are you going to pay for his creative copyrights?" Manager Wang was stunned. She didn't expect Wu Hongming to ask this question. She thought about it and replied, "My idea is to follow the example of an artist's contract and sign a 5-year contract. I will give him an annual salary of 300,000 yuan plus a 10% bonus. The contract must include all creative copyrights." In the view of the brokerage manager, this contract is undoubtedly very generous. For a young man like Lu Qin, wouldn't he be happy to get the opportunity to promote and package him into the entertainment industry? I don't know how many newcomers are eager to embark on the road to becoming a star. An annual salary of 300,000 plus a 10% bonus, she felt that it was a little too generous. Wu Hongming didn't comment. He pointed to the projection screen and said, "The song Lu Qin just sang is called Blue Lotus. As far as I know, he has sold the copyright of this song to Light Rain Media Company in Beijing. The price is 200,000. Impossible." Manager Wang was the first to shout. She stared and said, "This is the price of a top famous artist." Among the executives present, there were people who knew the market and were also very surprised. Really? 200,000 yuan for a song is definitely a high price among famous artists. Without being verified by the market, a newcomer can sell his work for 200,000 yuan. It sounds like a fantasy novel. Wu Hongming said lightly, "Nothing is impossible. I have already inquired about it from my friends in the Beijing circle. Many people know about this. There have been agencies that wanted to sign him, but he refused. So I suggest that we give up the copyright requirements. Don't expect to sign an ordinary artist contract with him. Let's talk about it according to the top anchor contract." Manager Wang was not convinced. "Manager Wu, how can you be sure that he won't sign it?" Wu Hongming sighed and said, "Then you can talk to Lu Qin. This young man is actually very assertive and thoughtful. I don't think it's possible to move him unless we give him a top artist contract." Wu Hongming's understanding of Lu Qin comes mostly from his niece, Wu Shanshan. The latter has a very close relationship with Lu Qin and usually maintains a very high level of attention. As the head of the operations department, it is impossible for him to ignore the new anchor who is rapidly becoming popular on Whale TV. And Lu Qin's live broadcast on the PK theme show tonight has deepened his inherent impression. Top artist contract? The executives all looked at each other. How is that possible? Manager Wang couldn't help but want to refute again. Fang Xiaohui asked first, "Then let Manager Wang talk to him about the artist contract first. If he can't talk about the new contract, how about it?" Wu Hongming replied calmly, "I have no objection, but don't forget that we have a lot of competitors." Fang Xiaohui's breath suddenly stagnated. In the past 2 years, Whale TV had been badly poached by others, especially Starry Live. They had poached their members to the point where Whale TV had suffered greatly. There were also many new broadcasting platforms eyeing them covetously to take advantage of them. The PK theme show can certainly enhance the popularity of the website, but it will also attract covetous eyes. A newcomer like Lu Qin, who only signed an ordinary contract, is simply the best target for poaching. If Whale TV is still hesitant at this time, maybe they will lose a new star. Fang Xiaohui didn't take Lu Qin very seriously. He just wanted to set up a model for his own project. Now that he heard Wu Hongming's words, he finally got serious. Then when the event is over, talk to him about the new contract. The general manager hesitated and said, Manager Wu, you talk to him about the new anchor contract. At the critical moment he still chose Wu Hongming. The vision and character of this old minister are trustworthy. Wu Hongming nodded and said, I will take people to the capital tomorrow morning and talk to him face to face. The executives present were all surprised. They never thought that Wu Hongming would attach so much importance to Lu Qin. The last time Wu Hongming personally met with an anchor to talk about the contract was last year. At that time he signed the current #1 female anchor of Whale TV, Chinger Baby. And he went so far away from the capital. A senior official couldn't help but say, then he should have been given a better contract. A better contract has a longer time limit and a higher binding force. But for this kind of low-level hindsight, Wu Hongming simply despised it. This contract of 50,000 signing fee was almost beaten back by the finance department. Whale TV has a lot of venture capital, and the finance department has great authority in fund management. The other party was suddenly speechless. Old Wang, the manager of the finance department, twitched his face and decided to be a dead dog. Wu Hongming slapped him in the face and asked, how much authority did the company give me to negotiate this time? If it's less than 500,000 signing fee, then don't talk about it. Whoever wants to talk can go. He glanced at the manager of the brokerage department, intentionally or unintentionally. The eloquent young woman didn't say anything. If Wu Hongming had said at the beginning that he would give Lu Qin at least 500,000 signing fee, it was estimated that no one would have agreed. Now that she understands the situation and knows that Lu Qin sold a song for 200,000 yuan, the 500,000 signing fee is really nothing. She even regrets in her heart. If she could sign Lu Qin with an ordinary artist contract, her brokerage department would have a trump card. A real trump card. Chapter 65. At 9:45, Whale TV, Lu Fei's live broadcast room, online popularity, 936224. Lu Qin's live broadcast is still going on, but the time for the PK theme show is over. What he has to do now is to wait for the final ranking with nearly 1 million online viewers in the live broadcast room. It's a suffocating wait. I'm suddenly so nervous, as if I'm waiting for my final report card. Report card +1. All of you tell me, where can our master Lu Fei be ranked? Lu Fei is, of course, #1. Is there a need to ask? Of course it's impossible to be first. As long as he rushes to the top 5 he will win. I guess it should be 5th or 4th. If he's not in the top 5, I'll eat my keyboard live. I guess 3rd. The contents of the barrage in the live broadcast room have all turned into speculation about the ranking, all kinds of predictions, bets and ridicule. On the contrary, Lu Qin completely relaxed. In the 90-minute live show, he sang a total of 8 original works and did his best. Although there were twists and turns in the middle, he should have interpreted the theme of graduation season very well. I believe that this should be able to win the praise of the media judges. As for other indexes, Lu Qin has also broken through his previous peak, especially the interaction with Chinger Baby, which has brought him a lot of popularity. If he can't get into the top 5, then Whale TV is shady. He calmly thanked the local tycoons and fans who rewarded him, so that his throat was a little dry. In fact, even if he didn't get into the top 5, Lu Qin's harvest in the evening was great. In addition to the surge in popularity and followers, the new fish ball reward reached 170T+, which can be withdrawn for 110,000 yuan. He earned 110,000 yuan in an hour and a half of live broadcast. What else is Lu Qin not satisfied with? In the past, he might not even be able to save enough money for 2 years if he worked double jobs. He understands the principle of contentment, and his mentality is naturally calm. At this time, an eye-catching system prompt appeared on the screen. System prompt. The ranking of the PK theme show anchor has been determined, and the top 5 winners will be announced. There was a sudden burst of cheers in the live broadcast room. It's out. The top 5 are finally out. I've been waiting for this moment for the whole night. Lu Fei will definitely win. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. That's for sure. Our anchor will definitely be in the top 5. If I don't get into the top 5, I'll eat my keyboard live. Wait for me, the one eating keyboard in front. I'll eat the mouse. Although Lu Chen was very relaxed, he could not help but be affected by the atmosphere in the live broadcast room. He couldn't help but straighten his back. The next moment, a big 5 appeared on the screen. It shone with a golden light, and it was so bright that it could blind a dog's eyes. System notification. Congratulations streamer Lady Rain, the theme Rainy Day is ranked number 5, PK index 5575. Number 5 is Yu Gij, the popular female anchor of Whale TV Life Show. Everyone's hearts were in their throats because the appearance of a streamer meant the disappearance of a ranking. No one knew if Lu Chen would appear in the system notification. And the higher the ranking, the smaller the hope. Number 4, Anchor Sun, the theme Afternoon Sunshine, PK index 6210. Sun is also a frontline anchor of Life Show. His live broadcast style is actually very similar to Lu Chen. He is very handsome, can play the guitar, piano, violin and dances very well. He often runs to the square to fight with others. In this PK-themed show, Sun is undoubtedly Lu Chen's most powerful opponent. Although the two are not fighting one-on-one, Sun is ranked 4th, which brings a lot of pressure to Lu Chen. Because there are only 3 places left. Lu Fei's live broadcast room was silent, and there were only a few comments on the screen. Number 3, Anchor Xiaogu, the theme Thunder Fury, PK index 9750. Xiaogu is a game anchor. He is also ranked in the top 10 strategic experts in the popular online game, Planet Overlord. His competitive live broadcast can attract the support of millions of fans, and his popularity has always been very strong. Xiaogu took the 3rd place, leaving only the champion and the runner-up. It is certain that the champion basically belongs to Qinger Baby, the first female anchor of Whale TV. Seeing that the 3rd place is still not Lu Chen, there was finally a pessimistic voice in the live broadcast room. It's over, Xiaogu is 3rd, I'm afraid our anchor. That's really dangerous. It's okay, even if we can't get the top 5, we have all worked hard together. Don't be so pessimistic, maybe it's 2nd place? Come on Lu Feida, come on. No matter what, I support the anchor big. Support +1. Lu Chen thought about it and said into the microphone, no matter what the result is, I want to thank everyone for their support. As soon as his voice fell, a big golden 2 appeared on the screen. The runner-up appeared. System notification. Congratulations to anchor Lu Fei, the theme Graduation Season, is ranked number 2, PK index 9790. 2nd place? 2nd place? Lu Fei? Many people couldn't believe their eyes. Yes. Lu Chen reacted the fastest. He immediately clenched his fists and waved them hard. At the same time he roared loudly. A great joy drowned him in an instant. Lu Chen thought that he could face victory or failure calmly, but when the runner-up position of the PK theme show fell on his head, he still felt extremely excited and excited. A week of hard work and preparation was not in vain. And what was very rare was that he defeated Xiaogu by a small margin of 40 points. The reward for the champion of the PK theme show is 300,000, and the popular anchor on the home page will be pushed 3 times. The reward for the runner-up is 200,000 plus 2 big push. The 3rd place is 100,000 plus 1 big push. The 4th and 5th place are both 50,000 bonuses. A 40-point win means that Lu Chen got a double reward. The live broadcast room suddenly exploded. Hooray! Ah, I'm so happy. The victory belongs to our Lu Feida. Congratulations to Lu Feida for being the runner-up. 2nd place, I said top 3 and I was right. I guess 2nd place. I really didn't expect that he really won the top 3. It's not easy. In fact, this is very normal. Our anchor has such strength. Strength +1. So cool. Lu Jiejun sent a red envelope in the group. Everyone go and grab it. What's the group number? 10,000-ton copper ball? Although it was not the highest championship for Lu Chen's hundreds of thousands of fans, the weight of this runner-up is not much different from that of the championship, and it is worth celebrating. It must be known that before the start of the PK theme show, all of Lu Chen's data was the lowest among the 24 anchors. In the live broadcast he struggled to catch up and climbed higher and higher. He was also attacked by the black tide of haters, but he still had the last laugh. Lu Chen's efforts and talent were seen and heard by everyone. He won the runner-up title and deserved it. As for the champion's crown, it was taken by Qinger Baby without any suspense. PK index, 15,200. But the audience in Lu Fei's live broadcast room did not care about the championship. They were all celebrating Lu Chen with barrage and fish balls as much as they could, as if celebrating their own victory. Today was Victory Day. Lu Jiejun's supergroup also exploded, because the tycoon Li Bai was giving out red envelopes. The mood of Lu Chen's #1 tycoon fan was more cheerful than that of Lu Chen. Lu Chen won the runner-up in the PK and he also won the bet with Arthis. He had both face and substance and his life was perfect from then on. Thousands of red envelopes were given out. The tycoon was so capricious. And taking advantage of this opportunity, Li Bai bought 10 more supergroups in one breath and posted them in the live broadcast room, attracting countless fans to join the group to grab the victory red envelopes. Although these audiences were not loyal at the moment, there would eventually be a group of fans who were willing to stay and continue to support Lu Chen's broadcasting career. Lu Chen picked up the guitar again and thanked all his fans with the song Thank You. This was his victory day and he believed that tomorrow would be even better. At 10 p.m., Lu Chen ended the live broadcast. At this time he received a phone call, and the number showed that it was from Shanghai City. When Lu Chen saw the area code displayed on the screen of his mobile phone, the first thought that came to his mind was, the person who sent money came. Chapter 66. Shanghai City, CBD Central Business District, 68th floor of Fortune Building. Starlight Show, headquarters. At 10 o'clock in the evening, it was still brightly lit. The special nature of the live platform requires employees to often work night shifts. Zhang Guangjie half leaned on the big office chair and stared at the 32-inch big screen in front of him with gloomy eyes. There seemed to be a huge storm forming in his eyes, which would erupt with terrible power at any time. This 40-year-old middle-aged man was thin and tall, with an ordinary appearance. He belonged to the kind of passerby who couldn't be found in the crowd. But more than 200 employees of Starry Live Media Company have a deep memory of his image. Because Zhang Guangjie is the CEO of Starry Live Media Company. He is strong with an iron fist and works swiftly and decisively. If any employee is careless and caught by him, then the end is often very miserable. Since he took charge of Starry Live Media Company, the number of employees he has personally fired has reached double digits. And at this moment, the CEO's face was covered with a dark cloud, indicating that his anger has accumulated to a high level, just waiting for the victim to appear. Ring ring, the phone beside the computer suddenly rang, and the red light flashed indicating that the call request came from the internal line. Zhang Guangjie reached out and pressed the answer button. The secretary's gentle and sweet voice sounded on the phone. President Zhang, Manager Zhao is here. Zhang Guangjie said, let him in. After that he cut off the call. After a while, a man with a thin face, small eyes, and a hooked nose pushed open the office door and came in. When he saw Zhang Guangjie, he immediately asked respectfully, President Zhang, are you looking for me? Zhang Guangjie nodded expressionlessly, sit down. The thin-faced man subconsciously swallowed his saliva and carefully sat down opposite Zhang Guangjie. Zhao Depeng is the manager of Starry Live Media's Operation Management Department. He is an authoritative figure in the Operations Management Department. But in the face of Zhang Guangjie, he is no different from ordinary employees. He is a mouse and Zhang Guangjie is a cat. Everything has its vanquisher. Zhao Depeng knows very well that as long as Zhang Guangjie says a word, he can roll down from the throne of the Operations Management Manager. After sitting down, Zhang Guangjie didn't speak and stared at Zhao Depeng until the latter's forehead was sweating. Zhang Guangjie suddenly asked, Manager Zhao, how long have you been in Starry Live Media? Zhao Depeng quickly replied, 2 years, almost 2 years. Starlight Show has not been established for a long time, so Zhao Depeng is also an old employee. Almost 2 years, Zhang Guangjie sighed and said, I remember that you came from Whale TV. For the past 2 years, you have helped the company unearth quite a number of talents. For Starry Live to be able to develop to its current scale, you have contributed a lot. Zhao Depeng had the urge to burst into tears. He thought he had made a big mistake. Now listening to Zhang Guangjie's tone, it seemed that he wanted to promote him. He could not help but relax, secretly laughing at his own suspicions. However, in the next moment, Zhao Depeng's mood instantly fell into hell. However, many employees have responded that you act arbitrarily in your work and do not tolerate the opinions of others. Recently, the company has also received complaints from several anchors, accusing them of being treated unfairly by the operations management. Zhang Guangjie looked at Zhao Depeng mockingly and asked, Manager Zhao, what's your explanation for this? The sweat on Zhao Depeng's forehead came out again and he argued, Mr. Zhang, let's not talk about that. As soon as he wanted to explain a few words, he was rudely interrupted by Zhang Guangjie. Explain first, what's going on? The CEO of Starry Live Media reached out and turned the display in front of him 180 degrees and showed it to Zhao Depeng. Zhao Depeng's face turned red in an instant. What was displayed on the screen was the forum of Whale TV. Zhao Depeng was very familiar with it because he was a senior executive of Whale TV 2 years ago. But this was not the reason why his face was flushed, but the content of the post opened in the forum. This post was pinned high in the Lu Jiejun fish nest section. Its content included a picture and hundreds of words of complaint, saying that the anchor Lu Fei was suppressed by super administrator in Starlight Show, and was forced to sign an overbearing contract. Finally, his account was blocked and there was no way to complain. The super administrator 002 in the screenshot is not Zhao Depeng. Super administrator 001 is Zhang Guangjie. Zhao Depeng almost spat out a mouthful of old blood on the spot. He had long forgotten about this matter, because he had encountered more than 1 or 2 small anchors who did not know how to appreciate favors, and he had never seen anyone who could set off any storm at all. If he wanted to suppress, then he would suppress. If he wanted to ban, then he would ban. Those who obey me will prosper, and those who oppose me will perish. The anchors under Starlight Show, except for a few top gods, are they not at his mercy? But Zhao Depeng now knows that even among the newcomers, there are crouching tigers and hidden dragons. This pinned post was like a heavy slap to his face. It didn't matter if he didn't know before, but now he was exposed by Zhang Guangjie. Where could he put his face? Zhang Guangjie said lightly, I don't interfere in the affairs of the operations management department because I trust manager Zhao. This anchor named Lu Fei signed a contract with Whale TV after our Starlight Show account was banned. In less than a month, Lu Fei's highest popularity in Whale TV has exceeded 1 million, and he won the runner-up in the just-ended PK theme show. His current audience is more than 750,000. The people in the brokerage department have seen his live performance and evaluated him as a talented newcomer. What do you think of this, Manager Zhao? Zhao Depeng finally understood why Zhang Guangjie called him to the office alone. What employees accused the anchor and complained were trivial matters. What really killed him was that he missed a promising newcomer. At present, Starlight Show is spending a lot of money to dig up talents everywhere. His mistake is simply unforgivable. And there is no way to quibble. It is clear in the post, there are pictures and the truth. Zhao Depeng's mouth was full of bitterness, and he couldn't find a suitable reason to defend himself. Moreover, Zhang Guangjie is a ruthless character who doesn't rub sand in his eyes. Denying it will only make the CEO more disgusted. He bowed his head and said painfully, President Zhang, this is all my fault. I will find a way to make up for it. Zhang Guangjie sighed. His right index finger tapped the table gently as if he was thinking. Zhao Depeng was like a prisoner waiting to be sentenced, frightened and fearful. After a long time, Zhang Guangjie asked, How are you going to make up for it? Zhao Depeng was suddenly refreshed, like a drowning man who found a life-saving straw. He quickly said, There should be information about this anchor in the server. I will contact him right away and give him a high-paying contract. Isn't the brokerage department optimistic about him? Then give him another artist contract. I don't believe we can't poach him. When it comes to poaching people, Zhao Depeng is simply possessed by a god. All his confidence returned to him in an instant. Zhao Depeng came from Whale TV. After jumping to the Starlight Show, he poached more than a dozen anchors from Whale TV. In terms of poaching people, he is really not afraid of anyone. Zhang Guangjie nodded and said, I have already asked someone to understand. Lu Fei is still signing an ordinary contract. His signing fee is 50,000 yuan, but Whale TV will definitely re-sign a new contract with him. You don't have much time. Zhao Depeng knew that Zhang Guangjie said that he would not interfere in the affairs of the operations management department. In fact, the CEO has a strong control over the company, and he also has a lot of insiders in his hands, so he is very well informed. That's great. He immediately stood up and said, I will contact Lu Fei right away and talk to him face-to-face tomorrow. Zhang Guangjie said, he should be in Beijing. You should go and come back quickly. The company will also hold a similar event recently. Zhao Depeng knew that he had finally broken through this hurdle. He quickly said, I will ask someone to book a ticket immediately. Zhang Guangjie nodded again and said, Old Zhao, I have given you the opportunity. If this matter is still messed up, then I have no reason to help you suppress the opposition within the company. Do you understand? Zhao Depeng listened with a chill in his heart. He suddenly felt that the temperature of the office's air conditioning was too low. Chapter 67. Habit is a terrible thing. Last night, Lu Qin slept very late, so today he wanted to sleep in comfortably as a reward for himself. However, the long-term accumulated habit made him wake up on time. After opening his eyes, he was no longer sleepy. Although Lu Qin told himself that after working hard for so long and earning a lot of money, it wasn't a sin to rest for half a day. However, the heavy debt at home, the expectations for the future, the ambition hidden in his heart. It was like a powerful whip constantly whipping Lu Qin. It told him that he didn't have the right to be lazy. Lu Qin got up, brushed his teeth, washed his face, changed into sportswear and ran out of the house. After running to the small park by the river, he saw the old man who practiced Tai Chi. "Grandpa, you're early today." Lu Qin politely greeted him and secretly felt ashamed. The white-haired old man could persist in morning exercise, but he actually wanted to be lazy. His willpower was really not strong enough. The old man snorted and glanced at Lu Qin indifferently. Lu Qin touched his nose speechlessly. There should be a lot of dust on it. This grandpa still remembers things. He no longer asked for a snub and ran to the old place to start practicing Tai Chi. The Beijing Third Ring Road area was densely populated, and there were many communities around it. There were many people exercising in the small park every day. Because of his boxing, Lu Qin had been surrounded by people several times before. He felt like he was a monkey performing, so now he was used to hiding in a corner. He had liked this kind of exercise, and the improvement of his physical fitness was also obvious. A strong physique is really important. The memory from Mo Ran tells Lu Qin that a real actor must have a healthy body. When it comes to acting, even in the coldest weather, if it's time to jump into the river, you must jump. Although in the short term, Lu Qin wouldn't develop into an acting career, a strong physique couldn't be trained in a day or two. His efforts now laid the foundation for future success. After a round of Tai Chi, Lu Qin was sweating all over, but he was very happy. "Little guy, you practice Wing Chun, right?" At this moment, the voice of the old man came from the side. Lu Qin turned around in surprise and said, "Sir, you really have a discerning eye." "I just practice blindly." The old man who suddenly appeared said disdainfully, "You're quite blind. I used my phone to take a video and showed it to a real expert. He said that your practice was not authentic and that you didn't even master the routine well." Cough cough. Just a moment ago, Lu Qin had said that he had a discerning eye, but in the end, he had exposed himself. In order to understand Lu Qin's fist technique, he actually filmed it secretly. Lu Qin held back his laughter as he nodded and said, "That expert is right." It was like he was coaxing a child. It was true that Lu Qin practiced Wing Chun, but his boxing style had been improved to be more suitable for men to practice. In his dream world, there were many martial artists and even superstars in the film and television industry who were proficient in this set of fist techniques. In order to meet the needs of the film and television series, they had incorporated the essence of many other fighting techniques. Therefore, it was quite different from the traditional routine. But he couldn't explain this to the other party, especially to this stubborn old man. The old man snorted twice and said, "It's good that you know. I'm leaving." He was a little embarrassed, but Lu Qin's attitude was impeccable. He had no choice but to run away. Lu Qin smiled and didn't take it to heart. He returned home and continued to work. Just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Lu Qin arrived on time at the Fury Hotel on the Second Ring Road. This 5-star hotel was quite famous in the capital. In the cafe on the second floor of the hotel, he saw 2 guests from Shanghai City. They were a middle-aged man and a young man with glasses. "I'm really sorry to have kept you waiting." Lu Qin quickly apologized and took the initiative to reach out to the middle-aged man who had just got up. "I'm Lu Fei." The middle-aged man shook his hand and said with a smile, "It doesn't matter. We just arrived here. Let me introduce myself. I'm Zhao Depeng, Operations Management Manager of Starlight Show. This is my assistant, Little Zhao." Lu Qin said with a smile, "Hello, Manager Zhao." The 3 of them sat down and the waiter came over to inquire. Lu Qin ordered a cup of coffee. Zhao Depeng said straightforwardly, "Mr. Lu Fei, you are a young man with great creative talent, and our Starlive Media needs talents like you. I wonder if you would like to join our company? As for the conditions of treatment," he said in a confident and reserved tone, "it's far better than Whale TV. You will definitely be satisfied." Last night, Zhao Depeng asked his assistant to contact Lu Qin and rushed to the capital on this morning's flight. When he got off the plane, he rushed to the Fury Hotel in order to win the contract with Lu Qin. This contract is related to whether he can continue to mix in the company, so he has applied for a high level of authority. Zhao Depeng didn't believe that the contract he took out would not impress Lu Qin. Perhaps it was because of this confidence that his words naturally carried a hint of arrogance and bossiness. He's used to it. Zhao Depeng didn't feel it himself, but Lu Qin heard it clearly. He put down his coffee cup, showed a very interested look and asked, "Can you introduce it to me, Manager Zhao?" Sure enough, he's a newcomer. When Zhao Depeng saw Lu Chen's expression, he immediately felt relieved. According to past experience, as long as the anchor is moved by him, no one can escape from his hands. The operations management manager took the briefcase from the assistant, took out a contract and handed it to Lu Chen. "Mr. Lu Fei, this contract is tailor-made for you." Lu Chen took the contract and looked at it carefully. The contract given to him by Starry Live Media seems to be very good on the surface. First of all, there is a signing bonus of 500,000 plus 300,000 for breach of contract. The latter is based on the terms of the contract signed by Lu Chen with Shark TV. If Lu Chen wants to jump from Shark TV to Starlight Show, then the liquidated damages cannot be less. Starry Live Media has already prepared it for him. The basic annual salary is 300,000 plus 10% bonus. At the same time, Starry Live Media also provides him with millions of packaging and promotion, spanning the live broadcasting platform and the entertainment industry. If it were someone else, I am afraid that they would be excited to see such a clause. Who doesn't want to run into the star-studded entertainment industry with fame and fortune? But Lu Chen did not ignore the trap lurking under the bright and attractive surface of this contract. That is the copyright. As long as Lu Chen signs this contract, the copyright of all his works will belong to Starry Live Media. In essence, it is the same as the new artist contract given to him by Light Rain Media. The term of the contract is also 10 years, and Starry Live Media has the right to terminate the contract at any time. Under the gaze of Zhao Depeng's expectant eyes, Lu Chen put down the contract and asked, "Manager Zhao, I heard that you are used to preparing 2 contracts when you poach people. Can I see the other one?" "What?" Zhao Depeng couldn't help but be surprised and asked, "How do you know?" This is a little trick that Zhao Depeng often uses when poaching people. When negotiating, he first gives a bad contract. If he can sign it, it is naturally the best. If he really can't reach an agreement, then he will come up with a new contract to make the final decision. Zhao Depeng didn't expect that Lu Chen actually knew his habitual means. In fact, Lu Chen knows more than Zhao Depeng thought. He grinned and said, "Manager Zhao, if I'm not mistaken, you are Super Administrator 002, right?" A rush of blood rushed to Zhao Depeng's head in an instant, and his face suddenly turned red. The biggest hidden danger in his poaching of Lu Chen was that he once blocked Lu Chen's account as a Super Administrator. Lu Chen has put the denunciation post in the forum, so he must have taken it to heart. Zhao Depeng originally believed that a generous contract could make Lu Chen forget this discord. Who would be angry with money? However, now he suddenly found that all his thoughts were seen clearly by Lu Chen. Zhao Depeng had a bad feeling and subconsciously asked, "Who told you that?" Lu Chen still had a smile on his face, pointed to the door of the coffee shop and said, "You want to look for him?" Zhao Depeng couldn't help but look back and was immediately dumbfounded. Chapter 68. There are 3 people who just appeared at the door of the coffee shop. Walking in the front is a tall middle-aged man about 40 years old, wearing a suit. Behind him was a woman in a white dress and a skinny man in glasses. Zhao Depeng knows this tall man and he is very familiar with him. Wu Hongming, the operations director of Whale TV. Zhao Depeng and Wu Hongming are not only former colleagues, but also old friends who have known each other for many years. But the friendship of the past has long since disappeared. Now it is not an exaggeration to say that the 2 sides are enemies. Seeing Wu Hongming, Zhao Depeng immediately understood. He was fooled by Lu Chen. Lu Chen didn't have the idea of signing a contract with Starry Live Media at all. He knew that Zhao Depeng was Super Administrator 002. Zhao Depeng suddenly turned his head and was not surprised to see a mocking smile on Lu Chen's face. That's undisguised sarcasm. The face of the Starry Live Media operations management manager turned purple, and a stuffy breath was held in his chest. His head was a little dizzy, and he forced himself not to make a fool of himself on the spot. He really lost a lot of face today. Zhao Depeng thought that it would be easy to deal with a newcomer in his early 20s by himself. He didn't expect that the other party would play with him and take revenge for the previous discord. He flew more than 2,000 kilometers to Beijing, which was like sending his face to the door. What makes people's hair stand on end is that Lu Chen was talking to him seriously about the contract just now. His acting skills are so superb that he can mix in the film and television circle. It's not as simple as revenge. Zhao Depeng quickly realized. Lu Chen is using him, or more accurately, using Starry Live Media as a bargaining chip to negotiate a new contract with Whale TV. Otherwise, why would Wu Hongming appear so coincidentally? You. Zhao Deping wanted to swear, but countless words were blocked in his throat, and finally he spat out only one word. Because he sadly found that he couldn't do anything to Lu Qin at all. Now Lu Qin is not the little anchor in the Starlight Show that he could need. Since Manager Zhao is unwilling, then forget it. Lu Qin stood up with a smile. He took out his wallet from his pocket, took out a 50 yuan bill and put it under his coffee cup. He said, I hope there will be opportunities for cooperation in the future. Goodbye. Lu Qin nodded at the dumbfounded assistant and left. At this moment, Zhao Deping's heart felt as if 10,000 horses were galloping. He stared at Lu Qin's back. If looks could kill, then Lu Qin would already be riddled with holes. The assistant asked timidly, Manager Zhao, then now we go back. Zhao Deping struggled to stand up and said weakly, let's return to the deep sea immediately. He would only be humiliating himself if he continued to stay here. He really didn't want Wu Hongming to see him in such a sorry state. The assistant wanted to say that the return ticket had not been booked, but Zhao Deping was like this. If he poured salt into the other party's wound, he would be waiting to be fired. Just as the two of them left the tea house, a polite but vigilant reminder came from behind them. Sir, you forgot to pay the bill. The waiter's voice was not loud, but it was particularly clear in the quiet coffee shop. Many guests nearby turned their heads and looked over after hearing it. Most of their eyes were curious or contemptuous. Zhao Deping's old face, which had just faded a little, was instantly heavily painted with a new layer. He noticed that Wu Hongming, who was talking to Lu Qin not far away, also looked at him. The Starlive Media Operations Management Manager almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. If he had known that this would be the result, he would not have come to the capital. Not to mention that he was humiliated in vain, the most important task was not completed, and there was no way to explain it to Zhang Guangjie when he went back. He could completely foresee his bleak and desperate future in the company. Zhao Deping, Wu Hongming glanced at his old rival, snorted softly and said, he really has a face. It was he who told Lu Qin that Zhao Deping was Starlight Show, Super Administrator 002. After the Whale TV executive meeting last night, he personally called Lu Qin to discuss the contract. As a result, he learned from Lu Qin that Starlive Media would also send people to the capital. Based on his understanding of Zhao Deping, Wu Hongming revealed this secret to Lu Qin, which was not a secret. Because he knew very well that Starlive Media's poaching must be the operations management manager. The result was as expected. At the same time, Wu Hongming also admired Lu Qin a little. The latter obviously played with Zhao Deping, and at the same time used Starlive Media's people to implicitly remind himself that the price of the new contract cannot be bad. In business, he didn't think there was anything wrong with Lu Qin's approach, and he was prepared for it. Lu Qin said with a smile, let's sit down and talk. Whale TV sent Wu Hongming and Wu Shanshan to talk to him about the new contract. The former was the first time he met, and the latter was often talked about in QQ. Of course, it was the first time he met them in person. As for the third person who accompanied him, the thin and tall man with glasses, his identity was actually the editor of Yunjing Music Network. The other party's name was Sui En, and his ID name was Sui Yuan. Of course, Lu Qin knows Yunjing Music Network, which is one of the top music websites in China. The appearance of this editor, Sui En, made him have some subtle associations. As for the truth, it has to be slowly and carefully understood. The four found a place to sit down. After ordering coffee and tea, they quickly got to the point. What Wu Hongming brought to Lu Qin was an electronic contract. The advantage of electronic contracts is that they are very convenient to modify, and it is also very simple to print them into a formal contract after they are finalized. The sincerity of Whale TV is undoubtedly shown in this electronic contract. The new contract they gave to Lu Qin is 50 plus 50 plus 70% plus 30%, 500,000 signing fee plus 500,000 annual salary plus 70% reward share and 30% value-added benefit share. The contract period is 3 years, and Whale TV has the right to terminate the contract in advance and have the priority to renew the contract. The most important thing is that Whale TV does not require possession of his original copyright, as long as there is reasonable authorization. On Wu Shanshan's laptop, Lu Qin looked at the electronic contract carefully. He did not find any clause traps or ambiguities in it. The rights and obligations of both parties are clear. There is no doubt that his heart is very satisfied, but the conditions that should be mentioned still have to be mentioned. Manager Wu, Lu Qin said bluntly to Wu Hongming, I just said 2 points. The first point is that the signing fee of 500,000 is too little. The second point is that the 3-year contract period is too long. I hope it can be changed to 2 years. I have no other opinions. The signing fee of 500,000 is amazing for a new anchor, but according to Lu Chen's current popularity, it is really not much. The first female anchor of Whale TV, Chinger Baby, is said to have a signing fee of 5 million. Of course, due to the need for publicity, the 5 million signing fee may be exaggerated, but even if it is discounted, 2 or 3 million is definitely a lot. In contrast, the 500,000 signing fee given to Lu Chen is undoubtedly not enough. Wu Hongming pondered for a moment and said, Lu Chen, these 2 conditions of yours can be discussed, but please let me think about it. How about you talk to editor Sui first? Of course, Lu Chen has no objection. He is actually very curious about the purpose of the editor of Yunjing Music Network. The purpose of Sui En's visit is very simple. The editor hopes that Lu Chen can organize his original works into a complete music album, and then put it on Yunjing Music Network for promotion and paid download. The founder of Campus Folk Songs. Sui En's eyes flashed with excitement. He said, I have listened to all the original works you played and sang on the PK theme show several times. Except for Fly Higher and Blue Lotus, the style of the other songs is too suitable to be recorded as a folk album. It has unique selling points. I believe the sales will be good. Lu Chen was really moved. Making an album is the dream of countless singers. Even if it is an online album, it is a good thing for many people to be able to advertise and sell on a big music website platform such as Yunjing Music Network. Lu Chen has a lot of songs from his memory in the dream world, but the works he left for himself are very unified in style. In addition to being used on the PK theme show, isn't it also to prepare for an album? It's just that it's really not easy for an unknown new singer to release an album. Even if it's barely released, it's still a loss. Maybe he can't even earn money from shouting. Lu Chen doesn't want to do things like puffing himself up to impress others. However, now that the opportunity has been sent to him, why doesn't he take advantage of it? Chapter 69. In a quiet and beautiful afternoon, the negotiation between Lu Chen and Wu Hongming was also friendly and sincere. It was precisely this sincere and friendly atmosphere that made him not stick to his goal requirements. The 2 sides finally reached an agreement of 650,000 signing fee plus a 2-year contract, and Whale TV has the right to terminate the contract in advance and have the priority to renew the contract. While Lu Chen was satisfied, he also thought that he should find an agent for himself. Originally, it was most appropriate for such a negotiation to be handled by an agent. A qualified and competent agent will always put the interests of the employer first. He will dare to ask for an exorbitant price and dare to fight with his opponent. He can completely put down his face. Lu Chen can't do it himself. Although he used Zhao Depeng as a stepping stone and occupied a considerable initiative in the negotiation, because of his character, he couldn't force himself to be ruthless and haggle with Wu Hongming for the sake of interests. For Whale TV and Wu Shanshan, Lu Chen always has a sense of gratitude. Therefore, the memory experience from the dream world tells him that he really needs an agent. It should be known that his future is not in the live broadcast platform, but in a broader world, which will inevitably have countless negotiations. Lu Chen can't do it himself every time. After finalizing the new contract, Wu Shanshan took her laptop and went outside to find a place to print it. Lu Chen and Sui En, the editor of Yunjing Music Network, continued to discuss. Even if it's an online album, it's not something that can be done immediately. First of all, Lu Chen has to prepare 10 songs for himself, which is the standard number of songs for a pop album. This is, of course, very simple for Lu Chen. He has sung 6 songs: You Who Sat Next to Me, Love in the Wind, The Brother Who Slept on My Upper Bunk, Cinderella, The Bright Times of Youth, and Beauty, so 4 more songs are enough. Lu Chen has even thought about which 4 songs to use to make up for his first album. But the problem is that making an album is different from playing and singing in the live broadcast room. In order to ensure quality in sales, all 10 songs must be arranged and recorded in a professional recording studio with the accompaniment of a band, as well as post-production and so on. In this regard, Lu Chen did not have much experience, and the memories from his dreams could not help him, because even Su Bo had not released a real album. However, as long as he made up his mind, all difficulties could be overcome. Especially after signing a new contract with Whale TV, Lu Chen would have the money to complete the work in front of him. As for the cooperation with Yunjing Music Network, it is only an intention at present. Sui En was very talkative. His understanding of pop music and the entertainment circle made Lu Chen admire him very much. Wu Shanshan came back with the printed contract. Lu Chen solemnly signed his name on it. That night, he invited the 3 guests from afar to have a sumptuous dinner in the Fury Hotel. Manager Wu, Sister Shanshan, Brother Sui. After dinner, Lu Chen asked, "Do you have any plans for tonight?" Wu Hongming and Sui looked at each other, and the latter replied with a smile, "I'm going to see some friends tomorrow. I don't have any plans tonight." "Why, Lu Chen, are you going to arrange activities for us?" Sui has a good impression of Lu Chen. He is young, handsome, talented, and modest and polite. He is not like many of his peers who have a little bit of ability and have their noses in the sky and look like they are the best in the world. Lu Chen smiled and said, "If there is nothing else, how about I invite you all to sit in the bar?" Wu Shanshan's eyes lit up. "Is it your Forget Grass bar?" Lu Chen nodded. Wu Shanshan smiled and her eyebrows curved. "That's great." Wu Hongming had no objection. So Lu Chen took the 3 of them by taxi and went to Forget Grass bar in Hohai. Because it was Sunday night and they came a little late, there were no empty seats in the bar. Lu Chen hurriedly found Qin Jianhao to explain the situation. The latter not only readily provided reserved VIP tables, but also personally greeted the 3 guests from Deep Sea. After Lu Chen introduced the 2 sides to each other, they went to the backstage of the bar. The backstage room was also very lively. In addition to Li Hong, Wang Xiaoshui and other old colleagues, Sister Na was also there. There were also 4 male and female singers who he was unfamiliar with. They should be here to run the show. As soon as she saw Lu Chen, Sister Na immediately shouted exaggeratedly, "Look who is here, it's a rare guest." Lu Chen touched his nose in embarrassment and said with a wry smile, "Sister Na, please spare my life." He now focuses on live broadcasting online, so the number of times he comes to Forget Grass bar is getting less and less. After all, compared to the Whale TV, the money that Lu Chen earned in the bar is really much worse. Perhaps one day he will become famous and no longer worry about money. Then he may return to the bar, hold a guitar on stage and sing casually, chat, drink and talk music with 3 or 5 friends and kill the idle time. But not now. Sister Na smiled and gave him a hug and said, "Sister Na is joking with you. I'm very happy that you can come. Let's go inside. Big Qin and I have something to tell you." Okay. Lu Chen readily agreed, said hello to Li Hong and the others, and then went to the small suite with Sister Na. When walking over, Lu Chen asked, "Didn't Brother Yi come tonight?" He noticed that Yi Zhenyang was not there. Sister Na said, "He is no longer in Forget Grass bar. He resigned and left, otherwise." Speaking of Yi Zhenyang, Sister Na's tone had a hint of disdain. Lu Chen nodded and did not speak. He knew that Yi Zhenyang leaving Forget Grass bar was related to him, but he had no responsibility. Sister Na said, "Xiao Lu, you will definitely enter the entertainment circle in the future. That circle is too complicated. You have to remember that you can't have the heart to harm others, and you can't have the heart to guard against others. Some people, no matter how good you are to them, who knows when they will stab you." Lu Chen smiled and said, "I know, thank you for reminding me, Sister Na." While talking, Sister Na pushed the door open, and the 2 came to the small suite where the band was located. Qin Hanyang and all the members of the Bionics were there. They were rehearsing a new song. When they saw Lu Chen and Sister Na, everyone stopped practicing and the drummer stood up. Today's Lu Chen is no longer the part-time waiter singer. His creative talent has a wide reputation in the entire Hohai circle. The price tag of 200,000 yuan for a song has been talked about by people. And Lu Chen's original song, In the Spring, which was given to the Bionics, was exchanged by Qin Jianhao with 5% of the bar's shares. This matter has even been discussed as a legend in the circle. Qin Hanyang put down the electric guitar and said with a smile, "Xiao Lu, you came at the right time. Sister Na and I were looking for you." Lu Chen asked curiously, "Brother Qin, what is it?" Sister Na smiled and said, "Let's sit down and talk." What they wanted to talk about with Lu Chen was actually very simple. Sister Na and the Bionics joined Light Rain Media. Their new songs, In the Spring and I Want to Have a Home, will be promoted on the internet and radio next month. If they are successful, then Light Rain Media agreed to release a mini-album for them. The so-called mini-album is actually a shrunken version of a complete CD. It usually contains 5 songs and is sold at a lower price than an album. The distribution method is more flexible, so it is used by many singers and is also called a compact disc. Since the Bionics added Sister Na as the lead singer, Light Rain Media hopes that the 2 can invite Lu Chen to sing a duet song to enrich the content of this mini-album. Qin Hanyang said sincerely, Originally, this matter should be handled by the company. It's just that the company considered our personal relationship, so they let us discuss it ourselves. Of course, the price of the song will be as high as it should be. Lu Chen understood, thought for a moment and said, "That's no problem. Can I give it to you 2 days later?" Sister Na smiled and said, "Of course, no problem. We are most confident in the songs you write. It will definitely not be bad." Lu Chen smiled. After chatting for a while, Lu Chen borrowed a guitar from Qin Hanyang and went out to perform on stage. He played and sang Love in the Wind, Beauty, and The Bright Times of Youth. The 3 new songs gave the new and old customers in the bar a great surprise, and the cheers and applause have not stopped. The next morning, Lu Chen sent Wu Hongming and the other 2 to the high-speed train back to Shanghai City. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he received a text message from the bank. There were 650,000 more in the account. Chapter 70. Friday, June 5, sunny. Near noon, Lu Chen walked out of the Binhai high-speed railway station. The dazzling sun shone on his face, making his eyes involuntarily squint and his mood soar. Thanks to the modern developed high-speed railway system, in just 5 hours, Lu Chen returned from the capital to his hometown, which he had been away from for nearly a year, a small town on the coast of eastern Zhejiang. Binhai City is a county-level city with a population of more than 1 million. The regional administration belongs to the Hangwan area, which is more than 200 kilometers away from the provincial capital, Hangzhou. Lu Chen was born and grew up here until he was admitted to Jianghai University. Originally, he wanted to go home on the 1st because he had to go back to Jianghai University to attend the graduation ceremony on the 9th. However, because he was preparing a new song for Sister Na and the Bionics, he was delayed in the capital for a few more days. Several songs of the Bionics have entered the formal production stage. As a songwriter, Lu Chen took the opportunity to participate in the process of arrangement and production, and put forward a lot of his own suggestions. Arrangement is Lu Chen's biggest weakness, so such an opportunity is very rare for him to learn a lot, and if the new song can be successful, it will be a good start for him to enter the mainstream circle of pop music. On the other hand, Lu Chen will also release his own album. It is good to know the production process in advance, not to mention that he has a good personal relationship with Sister Na and Qin Hanyang. Out of the train station, he took a taxi to the city's Dongping district. Dongping district is one of the earliest districts in Binhai City. It is also the location of the staff dormitory of the Municipal Finance Bureau, State Taxation Bureau, and Local Taxation Bureau. Lu Chen's mother, Fang Yun, and sister Lu Shui live there. Fang Yun is an accountant in the Binhai State Taxation Bureau. After the Lu family's accident, her original house and car were sold. She moved to the staff dormitory in Dongping district to save money. When he got out of the car at the gate of the district, Lu Chen did not go home immediately, but ran to the bank not far from the district. At the VIP customer window of the business department, he took out his bank card and ID card and stuffed them in. "Hello, I'm here to withdraw money. I made an appointment yesterday." 5 minutes later, Lu Chen left the bank with his heavy backpack and returned to Dongping district. Fang Yun lived in room 201 of block 7. Although Lu Chen didn't spend much time here, this small home also brought him a lot of warm memories. Seeing that he was getting closer and closer to home, his footsteps became especially light. However, when Lu Chen walked to the front of block 7, he suddenly noticed that the car parked next to the green belt looked very familiar. He took a closer look at the license plate number and suddenly had a bad feeling. Frowning, Lu Chen sped up the stairs and soon arrived at the door of room 201. The door was unlatched, so the voices in the living room could clearly be heard by him. "There's nothing we can do. We've been in debt for so long. If it wasn't for our Wenkong wanting to buy a house, we wouldn't have come here. We're all relatives, you can't let us." After listening to a few words, Lu Chen couldn't listen anymore. He pushed the door open. Bang! The security door hit the wall and made a loud noise. This dormitory had a layout of 1 bedroom and 1 living room. The room was very old. The living room, bedroom, kitchen, and bathroom all added up to no more than 30 square meters. The small living room could barely accommodate a sofa and a small desk, so it looked very simple and cramped. When Lu Chen broke in, his mother, Fang Yun, was standing in front of the desk with an expressionless face. A middle-aged woman with a rich appearance was spitting at her and pointing at her. A middle-aged man with a dull look was sitting on the sofa, smoking with his head down. On his right was a young man in his 20s, wearing a t-shirt and jeans with a messy haircut, a shiny silver earring hanging on his left ear, and an unruly look on his face. The sound of the door knocking made everyone look at Lu Qin. Little Qin. Fang Yun was surprised and happy. She quickly came over. When did you come back? Lu Qin smiled and said, Mom, I just came back. He turned his face and his expression became extremely cold in an instant. Uncle, Aunt, you're all here? The middle-aged man sitting on the sofa was Lu Chen's uncle, Fang Yuanzhong. The one who just scolded Fang Yun was his aunt, Lin Ru, and the young man with the earring was Lu Chen's cousin, Fang Wenkang. Little Chen is back. Fang Yuanzhong stood up a little bewildered and said, It's good to be back. Lin Ru was stunned at first and then said disdainfully, What's good about it? If you have the ability to make money, bring it back and pay off the debt you owe our family first. Fang Wenkang sat on the armrest of the sofa and looked at Lu Chen with sarcastic eyes. Fang Yun's face was angry. She was about to speak, but she was stopped by Lu Chen behind her. Lu Chen asked lightly, Aunt, I don't understand what you're saying. When did our family owe you money? Lin Ru's face was distorted as if she had heard something fantastic. What did you say? Your Lu family doesn't owe us money? It's written on both white and black papers. She took out a few pieces of paper, shook them hard at Lu Chen and cried, Do you still want to renege on the debt? Lu Chen suppressed his anger and asked, If I remember correctly, this is a shareholding agreement, right? When the Lu family's business was booming, Lin Ru was jealous and urged Fang Yuanzhong to ask Fang Yun for some shares in the Lu family's new factory. In addition to getting dividends, she also wanted her son, Fang Wenkang, to work in the factory. The new factory was still profitable at first, and the dividends were given to the Fang family. However, after the outbreak of the international financial crisis, Lu Qingxing's business was hit hard. The bank demanded repayment of the loans, which eventually led to the capital chain being broken and the company going bankrupt. Although Lu Qingxing died, he left a huge debt to his family. In addition to the bank loans offset with fixed assets, he still owed millions to his relatives and friends. Fang Yun bore all these debts. It was natural to pay off debts and there was nothing to say. However, the Fang family signed a shareholding agreement, and the dividends they had taken in the past had exceeded the shares. After the factory closed, they still had to ask Fang Yun to return the shares and pay back the money. There was no reason at all. Lu Chen knew that his mother had paid back some money to Lin Ru, and the relationship between the Lu family and the Fang family had become very cold. He didn't expect that the Fang family would come to their house today to force Fang Yun to pay back the debt. It was the best. How could Lu Chen not be angry? If you want money, then go to the court to sue. Now get out of here. It was impossible for the court to support such a debt. How could Lin Ru not know? She was choked by Lu Chen's harsh words, and the muscles on her fat face twitched. She suddenly grabbed Fang Yuanzhong and howled, Fang Yuanzhong, say something. Are you just going to watch your nephew bully your wife? Are you dead? Fang Yuanzhong frowned and let Lin Ru beat him. He looked at Fang Yun helplessly. Little Yun, how can you talk to my mother like that? Fang Wenkang jumped up and rushed to Lu Chen aggressively. F***ck your mother, you're looking for a beating. The living room was instantly thrown into a state of chaos. Lu Chen saw Fang Wenkang reach out to grab his chest. He dropped his backpack and did not dodge. At the moment when the other party's claws were about to touch his body, he suddenly raised his left hand and grabbed it. Paw. The next moment, a heavy slap landed on Fang Wenkang's face. Fang Wenkang was caught off guard and was directly stunned. Lin Ru also stopped crying and was stunned. Lu Chen's face was cold. He pushed Fang Wenkang away with his left hand and said in a deep voice, Fang Wenkang, if you want to die, just say it. I will fulfill your wish. This kid used to be like a dog in front of him, but now he dared to insult his mother. Lu Chen wanted to kill Fang Wenkang. This slap was too light. Fang Wenkang was almost pushed to the ground. He covered his red and swollen face and came to his senses after a while. Then he howled like a pig being slaughtered. Damn it, Lu Chen wants to kill me. Lin Ru was so angry that her nose was crooked. She screamed, Fang. She didn't know why, but the cold look on Lu Chen's face made her subconsciously feel a trace of fear, so she wanted to instruct Fang Yuanzhong to come forward and teach Lu Chen a lesson. She didn't dare to do it herself. Enough. Fang Yun shouted. She was disheartened and said to Fang Yuanzhong, Brother, I will call you brother for the last time. I will find a way to return the money to you in the future. You can go. The greatest sorrow was the death of the heart. Fang Yuanzhong didn't dare to look at Fang Yun's eyes. His lips moved but he couldn't speak. There is no need to do it in the future. Lu Chen picked up the backpack on the ground and suddenly unzipped it. Return it now. Chapter 71. The backpack that Lu Qin carried was very ordinary. It was something that could be bought online for a few tens of dollars. However, it was this kind of backpack that was filled with stacks of $100 bills. All of them were neatly sealed with bank tape, and the red color was particularly dazzling. When he pulled open the zipper, the living room was silent. Lin Ru stopped shouting and looked straight at the backpack full of bills. Fang Wenkang covered his face and was stunned, with a funny look that his jaw had dropped. Lu Chen's family education had been very good since he was a child. Fang Yun had always been strict with him. It was only after he went to college in Hangzhou that she stopped controlling him. Therefore, even when the Lu family was at its best, he had never done any ridiculous things like a rich playboy. However, at this moment, Lu Chen wanted to take out the money in his backpack and smash it hard on their faces. He didn't mean to pay back the money at all, but he knew his mother's character very well. "Tell me, how much more money do you want?" Lin Ru swallowed her saliva and squeezed out a fake smile on her fat face. She didn't even care that Lu Chen had just slapped her son. She asked, "Little Chen, where did you get so much money?" There were at least hundreds of thousands of yuan in this backpack, and it was possible to get millions of yuan. The Lu family used to be rich, but it was not easy to come up with so much money at one time. What's more, the current Lu family was not even as big as an ordinary family. She was dazzled by the stacks of 100 yuan bills. She was very curious and greedy. Lu Chen said faintly, "You can also rob a bank. Aren't you the best at it?" After eating Lu Chen's 2 words of ridicule, Lin Ru felt embarrassed no matter how thick-skinned she was. Her face sank in an instant. "You're really promising, then give us back our money first." "You don't have our money?" To everyone's surprise, Fang Yuanzhong, who had been silent all the time, suddenly broke out at this time. His face turned red, and he suddenly grabbed the shareholding agreement in Lin Ru's hand. Then he tore it into pieces and roared, "The Lu family doesn't owe us, let alone you, Lin Ru." Lin Ru was so shocked that she couldn't speak. Even in her dreams, she had never imagined that her honest and cowardly husband would do such a drastic thing. Not only did he shed all pretense of cordiality with her, he even tore up the investment agreement. Without this agreement, how was she going to extort money from the Lu family? Fang Yuanzhong ignored her. The haggard middle-aged man said to Fang Yun guiltily, "Xiaoyun, I'm sorry. We won't bother you anymore." With that, he turned his head and strode out the door. Lin Ru came to her senses and screamed, "Fang Yuanzhong." She really had the intention to eat her own husband alive. Fang Yuanzhong completely ignored her and left the Lu family without looking back. Lin Ru and Fang Wenkang were completely dumbfounded. Lu Chen was also a little surprised, but not too surprised, because he knew that his uncle was still a good person, but he was too cowardly. He was usually treated like a grandson by his aunt, Lin Ru, and had no status at home. If Fang Yun didn't want to embarrass her eldest brother too much, why would she agree to Lin Ru's shameless request? And Fang Yuanzhong's outburst now should be because he still had a conscience and had not completely extinguished family affection. He zipped up the backpack again and said to Lin Ru indifferently, "Aunt, since uncle has left, we won't keep you for lunch." "I'm really sorry." Fang Wenkang cried, "Want to drive us away? Pay off the money first." He wanted to grab the backpack from Lu Chen's hand. Lu Chen sneered and said, "I don't know what you're talking about. Are you still dreaming?" The invalid agreement was torn up, and Fang Yuanzhong had left. How could he pay back the money? Lin Ru was also very unwilling, but when she saw Lu Chen's look, she knew that she would be humiliated if she continued to pester him. Maybe Fang Wenkang would be beaten, so she took her son and left the Lu family in disgrace. This debt had to be settled with Fang Yuanzhong first. After driving away the 2 disgusting people, Lu Chen felt that the air in the room was much fresher. He smiled and said to Fang Yun, "Mom, what shall we eat for lunch? I'm starving." Fang Yun sighed and said, "Little Chen, don't blame your uncle. Your uncle had no choice." Lu Chen nodded and said, "I recognize my uncle. As for those 2, if they dare to come again, you can call the police directly." Fang Yun smiled bitterly and said, "I know." Lu Chen knew that his mother was soft on the outside but hard on the inside. If it weren't for Fang Yuanzhong, she wouldn't have been bullied by Lin Ru. He handed the backpack in his hand to Fang Yun and said, "Mom, here's 1,000,000 yuan. I'll accompany you to pay back the money in the afternoon." Fang Yun used to pay back the money in cash, and she personally went to the homes of those relatives and friends to pay back the money in person. She used this way to show everyone that the Lu family would not run away from the debt, and the debt would be there. Lu Qingxing was a righteous and trustworthy person when he was alive, so many people were willing to lend him money. Although he was now gone, Fang Yun would not discredit him and the Lu family. Many relatives and friends took out their life savings, and this debt represented a heavy responsibility. Fang Yun took the backpack and asked incredulously, "Where did you get so much money?" She was very surprised when Lu Qin transferred 300,000 yuan to her before. She didn't expect that he would bring another million today. Did he really rob a bank? Lu Qin smiled and said, "I'll tell you slowly. Anyway, I earned it cleanly." The 1 million yuan was all earned by Lu Qin from Whale TV. 650,000 signing bonus plus 200,000 PK bonus plus 150,000 reward commission, and he still had 150,000 in his bank account. A few days ago, Lu Qin wrote a new song for the Bionics, and 150,000 was a discounted friendship price. As they were talking, the door of the room was pushed open. "We're back." With a clear shout, a young woman in a white dress and a girl in a yellow shirt came in one after another. The former was carrying a lot of plastic bags in her hand, and the bags were filled with fresh fruits and vegetables. "Brother?" Seeing Lu Qin standing in the living room, the girl in the yellow shirt first blinked, then shouted and rushed to him. Lu Qin smiled and opened his arms, holding the other in his arms. The girl in the yellow shirt was Lu Qin's sister, Lu Shui, and the woman in the white dress was his sister, Lu Shi. Lu Qin and Lu Shui had a very good relationship. He loved his sister very much. After a year, he was naturally very surprised in his heart. "You've gained weight." "How can I gain weight?" Lu Shui wrinkled her nose and jumped down from Lu Qin and said coquettishly, "Mom, brother bullied me." Fang Yun touched Lu Shui's head and asked Lu Shi, who looked indifferent, "Little Shi, why are you here?" Among the three siblings, the elder sister, Lu Shi, was like Lu Qingxing in both appearance and temper. Lu Shui and Fang Yun were almost the same, and Lu Qin was a combination of the advantages of both parents, tall and handsome. Lu Shi was a little stubborn. She didn't get along very well with Lu Qin before. She said lightly, "Xiao Shui called me and said that uncle and the others came to make trouble again." Lu Shui stuck out her tongue, looked around and asked, "Where are uncle and the old witch?" She called Lin Ru an old witch. After the other party came, Fang Yun sent her out to buy vegetables to hide from trouble. Lu Shui was worried that her mother would suffer, so she called Lu Shi. The two sisters came back at the same time, but they didn't expect Lu Qin to be there. "That's your aunt." Fang Yun snappily flicked her head and said, "Children are not allowed to be rude. Uncle and the others are gone." "That's great." Lu Shui clapped her hands with a smile and said, "It's great that our family is reunited." She reached out to Lu Qin and said, "Brother, what gift did you buy for me?" "I don't want it." Lu Qin couldn't help laughing. He opened his suitcase and took out the laptop he had bought in the capital. Lu Shui was overjoyed. "Is it for me?" Lu Shi frowned and said, "Xiao Shui will take the college entrance examination next year. Why did you buy her a computer? Even if you can make money now, you have to save money. Our family still owes a lot of debts." Lu Qin said, "Sister, I can pay off the family's debts in 2 years at most." Lu Shi sneered. "Keep bragging." Chapter 72. Lu Shi didn't believe Lu Qin's words at all, because she knew very well how much debt her family needed to pay off. Under normal circumstances, it might take the family a lifetime to pay off the debt, and they had to work very hard to make money. Unless there was a miracle or they won the lottery. Lu Shi never bought lottery tickets. She never pinned her hopes on illusory luck. Fang Yun hesitated for a moment and said, "Little Shi, little Qin just brought back 1 million yuan. He earned it by singing. He didn't talk nonsense. No one knows a son better than a mother. She was the flesh that fell from her body." Fang Yun understood Lu Qin's thoughts very well. Lu Qin wanted Lu Shi to continue her studies. "Mom?" Lu Shi's eyes widened in disbelief and she said, "Why are you talking nonsense to him? He earned 1 million yuan by singing. When did Lu Qin become a big star? It was a fantasy." However, at this time, Lu Shi suddenly remembered that Lu Qin had remitted 300,000 yuan to her family not long ago. She couldn't help closing her mouth. "Wow!" Lu Shui cried out and worshipped, "Brother, you're so awesome." She had 100% trust in Lu Qin. The most important thing was that Lu Qin could make so much money, so there was no problem in giving her this beautiful laptop. "Well, let's not talk about this now." Fang Yun didn't want to embarrass her eldest daughter, so she said, "Little Shi, help me cook." Lu Shi was very stubborn, so it was better for mother and daughter to communicate in private. Fang Yun took Lu Shi to prepare lunch, Lu Qin took clothes from the suitcase to take a bath, and Lu Shui played with the new computer happily. The small home was filled with a warm atmosphere of reunion. Plate after plate of steaming hot and fragrant dishes were served on the table. Although there weren't any delicacies such as fish and meat, Lu Chen ate with great relish because this was the taste of home that he couldn't taste anywhere else. When they were almost done, Lu Chen asked, "Sister, do you have a financial broker's license?" Among the 3 children of the Lu family, Lu Shi was a well-deserved top student. When she took the college entrance examination, she failed 2 subjects because of a bad cold. Otherwise, she could have gone to Beijing University and Tsinghua University. Then Lu Shi did not retake the exam. She went directly to Jianghai University to study finance. She was preparing to go to Beijing University after graduation. However, she gave up further studies because of her family's changes. Lu Chen knew that she had obtained a lot of professional certificates during her college years, so he asked. Lu Shi said, "Yes, what do you want to do?" After Fang Yun's persuasion and explanation, her attitude towards Lu Chen finally improved a lot. It's just that the previous prejudice is not so easy to reverse. Lu Chen talked about the process of negotiating a new contract with Whale TV, and finally said, "I originally wanted a signing fee of 1 million, but after talking about it, it became 650,000. I couldn't put down my face." Lu Shi was surprised. "You mean you talked about a contract of 1 million to 650,000? Lu Chen nodded with a wry smile. Things were not that simple, but in order to persuade Lu Shi, he was willing to take the blame. "Why are you so stupid?" Lu Shi was angry. "You don't even know that you were sold. 1,650,000? There was a difference of 350,000. How long would she need to work hard to earn this money?" Lu Chen took the opportunity to say, "So I want to invite you to be my agent. In the future, I will let you negotiate contracts on my behalf. I am going to open a studio in Beijing, and I need someone to help me." He really needed a reliable agent, and he really wanted to open a studio. Although several entertainment media companies have looked for Lu Chen and wanted to sign him. But after serious consideration, Lu Chen gave up the conventional way of signing a contract, training, debut, publicity, and hype to become famous. Because there were great restrictions on his personal and rights. His idea was to open a personal studio so that he could cooperate with any company or individual, maximize his own interests, and have the power to make decisions freely. Nowadays, many big shots in the entertainment industry have opened studios for the same reason. Although Lu Chen was still unknown compared to them, he had the wealth of a world. With those precious memories, only others would beg him in the future. Of course, these were Lu Chen's preliminary ideas, and there was still a lot of work to be done. Inviting Lu Shi to be his agent was the first step he had taken. But Lu Shi was not so easy to be persuaded. Entertainment agents and financial agents are different. Lu Chen smiled and said, "Bargaining and negotiation are all the same. With you to help me, maybe we can pay off the debt in a year. Moreover, you can also take the postgraduate entrance examination and be a part-time agent when you come to Beijing." The postgraduate entrance examination of Beijing University was in mid-August, and Lu Shi could make it in time to prepare now. Lu Shi said suspiciously, "Why do I feel that you are setting a trap to fool me?" She was not a fool. How could she not hear Lu Chen's intention? Although she said so, the look in Lu Shi's eyes showed that she was really moved. Lu Chen smiled and didn't say anything. Fang Yun said, "Little Shi, go and help little Chen. You said that he will be a star and sing in the future. The entertainment circle is so chaotic. I can rest assured if you are around little Chen to supervise and manage him." Lu Shui swallowed the food in her mouth and shouted, "Brother, I support you to be a star. Big stars like Su Yang and Wang Yuan fan." Fang Yun knocked her on the head with chopsticks and said, "Eat carefully. Don't interrupt when adults are talking." "I'm 17 years old. I'm an adult." Lu Shui muttered, but still obediently buried her head in the food in her bowl. Lu Shi finally made a decision. "Well, I'll try." Hearing this, Lu Chen and Fang Yun smiled at the same time. Lu Shi said to Lu Chen, "Don't be complacent. I'll take good care of you when we get to Beijing." Lu Chen's smile suddenly turned into a wry smile. But this was a good start, wasn't it? After dinner, he followed Fang Yun and carried a backpack full of money to pay off his debts. Lu Qingxing owed a lot of debts. Among these people were his relatives, friends, comrades, former colleagues, and business partners. The number was quite large. When Fang Yun paid off her debts, as long as the other party was in Binhai City, she would visit them in person. It was the first time that Lu Chen went with her to pay off money, so he deeply understood his mother's difficulty. Fortunately, these creditors were very reasonable. Whether they were relatives or friends, they did not embarrass the two. Instead, they were very enthusiastic. Many people said they were not in a hurry. And they were all very interested in Lu Chen. Little Chin has grown up. Little Chin is very handsome. Where do you work? Does Little Chin have a girlfriend? Little Chin is good. After running all the way and paying off all the 1 million, Lu Chen's face was stiff from smiling and the sky was dark. He lived at home for 3 days and took the high-speed train to Hangzhou on the afternoon of the 8th. Binhai City was only more than 200 kilometers away from Hangzhou. It took 40 minutes to get there by high-speed train, and then transfer to the subway at Hangzhou Station to go directly to the station of Jianghai University. It was very convenient. Looking at the familiar school gate, Lu Chin had a feeling that it was a lifetime ago. As soon as his junior year was over, he applied to the school for social practice in advance and went to work in Beijing. As a result, he took a completely different path in life. After a year, Lu Chin was going to say goodbye to this campus that had left him with countless memories, countless beautiful, sad, moving, enthusiastic. At this moment he was a little unable to take a step. Third brother. Suddenly, someone behind Lu Chin patted him on the shoulder hard. Lu Chin couldn't help but turn his head and saw a big and burly man with a stubble beard looking at him with a smile and said, "I saw you from afar just now, I was right." "Boss." Lu Chin was very surprised. "When did you come back?" This burly man was his classmate, Gao He, a native of Ji City, Qilu Province. He was also one of Lu Chen's 3 roommates in the same dormitory. He was the eldest according to age and had always had a good relationship with Lu Chin. Gao He smiled and said, "I just came back. Let's go back to the dormitory together." I don't know if Old K and Old C have arrived. Of course, Lu Chin had no objection. The two talked and laughed as they walked towards the dormitory building. Chapter 73. Gao He is a very typical Qilu man. He is 1.95 meters tall. He is the main center of the computing department basketball team. He is straightforward and generous. He has a good temper and is easy to get along with. He looks a little mature. Gao He sleeps in Lu Chen's lower bunk. On the way to the dormitory, Lu Chen asked, "Where's sister-in-law? Are they back yet?" Gao He's girlfriend, Wang Xiaoling, is in the same Chinese department. She is petite and exquisite. They are often called Beauty and the Beast together. When she was a freshman, she held hands with Gao He. However, Gao He looked gloomy and said, "Split." Lu Chen was shocked. What's going on? For Wang Xiaoling and Gao He to fall in love, Lu Chen could be regarded as half a matchmaker. He knew that the relationship between the two had always been good. Although graduation season was the breakup season in college, Lu Chen thought they could continue. Gao He said with a wry smile, "I found a job in Ji City. Wang Xiaoling wants to stay in Hangzhou. You know the current housing price in Hangzhou. The money to buy a bathroom is enough for me to buy a suite at home, and my parents also need me to take care of them." Lu Chen was silent. Hangzhou's economy had been developing very fast in the past 10 years. While it had brought prosperity, it had also brought high prices. In particular, the housing prices had been rising steadily, and their increase had always been among the highest in the country. It was basically an extravagant hope for ordinary working-class people to buy a house here. Gao He's family is ordinary, and he is also the only son in his family. The love in college can't beat the reality after all. He could only pat Gao He on the shoulder to comfort him. On the contrary, Gao He was very open-minded and said, "I'm fine. I've been mentally prepared for this for a long time. Third brother, how are you doing in the capital? Have you found a new girlfriend?" Lu Chen smiled and said, "It's not bad. I was lucky enough to earn some money. As for a girlfriend, I don't want to think about it for now." Gao He knew the situation of Lu Chen's family and was happy for him. "Are you planning to develop in Beijing for a long time?" Lu Chen nodded. "Yes. Come to Beijing to find me when you're free. Ji City is very close to Beijing." Gao He smiled and said, "When you become a local tyrant, then I will definitely lead a team to fight against local tyrants." Lu Chen laughed. As they chatted and laughed, the two arrived at the university dormitory. The door of the 405 dormitory was half open. Gao He guessed, it must be Old K and Old C coming back. He pushed the door open and shouted, "The police are checking the room." Sure enough, there were already 2 people in the dormitory. One was lying on the bed playing with his phone, and the other was sitting at the table playing games. The two were shocked by Gao He's beast-like roar. Lu Chen followed them in. "This is a robbery. Please hand over your bank cards, transportation cards and meal cards." The one who played with the phone was Old K, whose real name was Wan Hongji. He was from Xiangbei and he was the second oldest among his 4 roommates. However, he couldn't accept the term, second oldest, so he changed it to Old K the second in the playing cards. Zhou Rui Lao Si, who was playing computer games, was a native of Hangzhou. He was thin and small and had an unattractive appearance. After being frightened, he wanted to cry but had no tears. Boss, the boss is going berserk. It's going berserk. He had been in a party to fight the boss. He had lost control of the rhythm of the battle and had instantly sent the boss into a berserk state. And then the whole team was annihilated. Gao He, Lu Qin and Wan Hongji laughed. Zhou Rui was scolded by his teammates. He could only vent his anger on his three friends. You wait. Lu Qin was just about to speak when the phone in his pocket rang. He picked it up and heard that it was Chao Xiuzhu who called. Lu Qin, have you returned to school? Lu Qin smiled and said, I just came back. What instructions does the class monitor have? Chao Xiuzhu said, it's good that you're back. Are you ready for the program? Tomorrow night's graduation party has been arranged. Don't drop the ball for me. Lu Qin said, you can rest assured that I will do things. We can cheat others but we can't cheat our class monitor. Chao Xiuzhu smiled and said, you went to Beijing to learn to be poor. Well, that's it. After hanging up the phone, Gao He asked curiously, why is the class monitor looking for you? Lu Qin explained, tomorrow night's graduation party, let me perform on stage. Wan Hongji said with emotion, it used to be a New Year's party. Now it's a graduation party. Time flies. Time is ruthless and the days in the ivory tower always pass quickly. Many good things can only be left in memory. The 405 dormitory fell into a brief silence. Gao He asked, Old K, Old C, what are your plans after graduation? Wan Hongji said, I know a senior brother who opened an IT company in Huhai and asked me to help him. I want to learn more things there and then if there is a chance I may emigrate. Among the four, Wan Hongji's academic performance is the best. It has always been his dream to go abroad through technical immigration. As for Zhou Rui, after graduation I will go to the game department of Fading Company. I have already signed a contract. Although he wanted to speak calmly, he couldn't hide the sense of pride in his voice. Gao He wanted to beat someone. Damn Fading Company. Lu Qin smiled and said, congratulations. Fading Company is one of the top 3 internet companies in China. The famous Yibao and Ufubeo are under its banner. In addition, the game department is very strong. It has self-produced and acted as an agent for many popular online games. The key is that Fading Company is a local company in Hangzhou, and the treatment has always been one of the best in the industry. Zhou Rui is from Hangzhou. Of course, it is worth celebrating that he can work in Fading Company. Wan Hongji cried, you have to treat me tonight. Zhou Rui hummed and said, I have no problem treating you. If you are not drunk you pay. Gao He patted his chest and said, drink with me, don't go home until you are drunk. Lu Qin stood up and said, let's go to the Old Tavern. The Old Tavern is a long-established tavern. It is separated from Jianghai University by a civic square. It is said to have a history of hundreds of years. It is famous for its cheap and delicious dishes. Many students like to go there to have a sumptuous meal. Because the business of the Old Tavern is excellent, there will be no seats if they go late. The 4 people of the 405 dormitory rushed over before the meal time and finally occupied a table by the window. They ordered a few special dishes and then beer. A box of Jiangchao beer, which cost 2 yuan a bottle, was placed on the ground. There was no need for a glass. They opened the lid and directly drank from the bottle. After drinking 2 bottles they began to drink water. They chatted about life and talked about the past period of their youth. Lu Qin drank 1 bottle after another. He drank more and talked less. Most of the time he listened to his roommates talking about the girls in the next class, talking about the new counselors and female teachers, talking about the unattainable junior sisters, talking about their expectations for the future. The alcohol drowned his body a little bit, but it made his mood more relaxed than ever. Unfortunately, there is no banquet that never ends. After graduation, everyone will go their separate ways. The next time they meet may be at someone's wedding. At that time, when they recall this period of time, they will no longer have the same mood. A box of 12 bottles of beer, the 4 people of the 405 dormitory drank 4 boxes. From 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, Zhou Rui and Wan Hongji went to the bathroom to vomit twice. He couldn't drink anymore. Zhou Rui struggled to pay the bill, and then was helped out of the Old Tavern by Gao He. Lu Qin and Wan Hongji could barely walk by themselves, but they couldn't walk in a straight line. So they supported each other and walked into the civic square. Although it was not a weekend, the civic square was still very lively. Uncles and aunts were dancing in the square, children were playing on roller skates, and couples were wandering together. In the wind of a summer night, who is singing a sad love song? Pedestrians in twos and threes were surrounding a wandering singer, listening to him sing an old song from the past. Son of a bitch. Gao he scolded. His singing is too bad, it's not as good as Old San's singing. Old San, you go and PK him. He was the best drinker. He drank 1.5 of the 4 boxes of beer, but he was also a little drunk. Zhou Rui shouted, sing, you must sing. Sing 2 more bottles. Lu Qin was drunk and said, I'll sing. He shook off one Hongji, strode forward and asked the wandering singer, friend, can I borrow your guitar in the venue? I'll sing a song for my brother. The wandering singer readily handed the guitar to Lu Qin. No problem. Thank you. Lu Qin took the guitar and skillfully strummed the steel strings with his fingers to test the sound. The guitar was a very ordinary guitar, the tone was basically accurate, and it was connected to a self-powered speaker connected to a microphone. It was a very standard street singing equipment. Chapter 74. Facing the dusty microphone, Lu Qin let out a long breath of alcohol. He said, I want to sing this song first of all to Gao He, our dormitory boss Gao. I hope he will always be so optimistic and open-minded, and then to all the people who have ever had ideals and dreams. Drunk, Lu Qin actually has a lot of words in his heart, but he doesn't want to say them, so he just sings. This song is for Gao He, for his friends, for everyone, and for himself. Good. Both Gao He and Wan Hongji applauded loudly. They didn't care what Lu Qin sang and whether he sang well or not. They just wanted to cry and laugh heartily, and spend the last period of time before graduation. Tian, Lu Qin is a good singer. Many people in the public square noticed the movement here and came around to watch the excitement. Several of them were students of Jianghai University, pointing at Lu Qin and laughing. Which senior brother is drunk and messing around here? Lu Qin doesn't care. He played the guitar and began to sing along with the rhythm. Once dreamed of walking the world with a sword, seeing the prosperity of the world, the young heart is always a little frivolous, now you are at home in the world. The girl who once made you feel sorry, now she has disappeared quietly, love always makes you yearn and feel annoyed, once made you bruised all over. The drunk Lu Qin's singing is no longer so clear and clean, with a trace of sadness and vicissitudes of life, low and contains the power of the soul cry, which instantly attracted the ears of the people present. This is a song they have never heard before. Gao He didn't laugh anymore because he was not drunk enough to hear the lyrics. Lu Qin's singing seems to be like a sledgehammer cast in copper and iron, hitting his heart again and again, making the nearly 2-meter-tall man bow and tremble involuntarily. The girl who once made you feel sorry, now she has disappeared quietly. Love always makes you yearn and feel annoyed, once made you bruised all over, isn't it singing about him? The next moment, the singing suddenly became high-pitched and high-spirited. Dillalilla dillalida data, dillalilla dillalida data, dillalilla dillalida data, walking on the road of courage. Dillalilla dillalida data and dillalilla dillalida data, dillalilla dillalida data. There was sadness and excitement. More and more people were attracted by the singing. At first, there were only a dozen or so people surrounding the area. Soon, there were hundreds of people, forming a large circle on the square. Lu Qin turned a blind eye to it. His mind was completely immersed in the mood of the song, expressing all the accumulated emotions through the song. Every moment of sadness just to look at the sea alone. I always think of my friends who are walking by my side. How many are waking up? Let us drink this cup of wine, a good man's heart is like the sea. Having experienced the vicissitudes of life, the warmth and coldness of the world, the smile was warm and innocent. The huge square seemed to have become a stage for Lu Qin alone. All the clamor and noise had disappeared. Only his singing was reverberating, impacting and shocking. Although he was holding a broken guitar worth hundreds of yuan in his arms, although he was facing a stained old microphone, although the quality of the amplifier was not good, but these do not damage the charm of this song. It is a memorial to the memory of youth and a declaration of no regrets for the past time. When it crosses the barrier of space and appears in this world, it can still move everyone. Let us drink this cup of wine. A good man's heart is like the sea. He has experienced all kinds of life and the warmth and coldness of the world. Whether it was Gao He, Wan Hongji or Zhou Rui, they all had a smile on their faces. Especially Gao He. The breakup between him and Wang Xiaoling was like a thorn in his heart. Although he seemed to be laughing on the surface as if he didn't care at all, only he knew the pain in his heart. Lu Qin's song made him feel relieved. No matter how many regrets they have had, no matter what they have lost, they have had sincere friendship, love, and the best time on campus. A real man should have a heart like the sea and be able to accommodate countless storms. When Lu Qin began to sing for the second time, the number of onlookers reached hundreds of people. Many people raised their mobile phones to take pictures of him, and more people listened quietly until he finished singing. In an instant, warm applause broke out quickly in the crowd, such as "good singing, one more song," and so on, pushing the atmosphere of the scene to the climax. Many people took out the coins in their pockets and put them in the open guitar case on the ground. They all thought that Lu Qin was a wandering singer. "Thank you, everyone." Lu Qin bowed to thank them and then returned the guitar to the real wandering singer next to him. "Thank you." The other party took the guitar in a daze. When Lu Qin turned and left, he woke up as if he had just woken up from a dream. He quickly asked, "Friend, what's the name of your song? Where can I download the score?" Lu Qin looked back and replied, "This song is called Once You. I wrote it myself." The wandering singer was stunned. He held his guitar and stared blankly at him as he walked away. "Old 3, when did you become so powerful?" On the way back to the dormitory, Gao He couldn't help but ask, "Did you really write this song yourself?" Although he doesn't understand pop music very well, he can hear that this is a really good song. It's hard to believe that it was written by Lu Qin himself. Lu Qin said frankly, "Yes, I make money by singing in Beijing." "Old 3 is really awesome." Wan Hongji said excitedly, "I think he is very suitable to be a star. He is handsome enough and he can sing and write songs." Zhou Rui cried, "Good, he sings really well. Shall we drink a few more bottles? He hasn't sobered up yet." Lu Qin and the other two laughed, dragged Zhou Rui back to the dormitory and then fell asleep. This night Lu Qin has been dreaming. In his dream he returned to the familiar and strange world, like a ghost wandering in the world, like a passerby walking in the secular world, watching the end of prosperity, watching the joys and sorrows of separation and reunion. Sometimes he is Su Bo, sometimes he is Mo Ran, sometimes he is Fang Mingi, Chu. He doesn't know how much time has passed, but Lu Qin suddenly felt a strange itch in his nostrils, and he couldn't help but sneeze loudly, waking himself up. Lu Qin opened his eyes and the first thing he saw was a girl with a round face, round eyes and a smile. She was still holding the small brush that Wan Hongji used to practice calligraphy in her hand. Lu Qin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Class monitor Chao." Chao Xiuzhu smiled and said, "I can't wake you guys up by calling. Get up and eat breakfast." Lu Qin looked down and didn't know where Gao He and the other two had gone. He sniffed and said, "Century egg lean meat porridge, bacon burger, well and fragrant soybean milk." Chao Xiuzhu was shocked. "You can smell this?" She took a burger and porridge and handed it to Lu Qin. Lu Qin smiled and said, "You can go to KFC and work for a few months, you can smell it." "Thank you, class monitor." He was not polite. He turned over and took the breakfast, sat on the edge of Gao He's bed and ate directly. Washing up and eating will be done later. Chao Xiuzhu hesitated and sat down beside Lu Qin and said, "Lu Qin, Wang Ying asked me to ask you how are you doing recently. She said that her uncle's company in Hangzhou is recruiting people if you—" Chao Xiuzhu deliberately sent Gao He and the other two away. She had something to say to Lu Qin alone. She always thought that Lu Qin and Wang Ying were a good match. No need. Lu Qin's appetite was gone in an instant. He put down the burger and said to Chao Xiuzhu, "Class monitor, thank Wang Ying for me, but I have found a suitable job." Wang Ying was his ex-girlfriend. The two broke up after his father died. At that time this incident was a big blow to Lu Qin. Chao Xiuzhu bit her lip and asked, "Do you still hate her?" It was Chao Xiuzhu who introduced Wang Ying to Lu Qin. The breakup of the two made her feel guilty all the time. "Hate?" Lu Qin shook his head and said, "It's all in the past. I'm fine now. Really, I don't blame her. Just a passerby." Chao Xiuzhu took a deep look at him and said, "Lu Qin, you have changed." Lu Qin smiled and said, "People always change. He used to be young and frivolous. Now he has experienced the upheaval of his family and the life of drifting ants in the capital. He also has the memories of the vicissitudes of 3 lives in his dream. He has really matured. The only thing that has not changed is perhaps the blood in his heart." "How about you and your family? What are your plans after graduation?" He changed the topic and didn't want to talk about himself anymore. Chao Xiuzhu replied, "We will stay in Hangzhou after graduation, and get married after 2 years of stability." "Congratulations." Lu Qin smiled and said, "Remember to invite me to your wedding at that time." There were tears and laughter. Life is always like this. Note, once you lyrics/composer, Su Wei. Chapter 75. On June 9, 2015, the 2011 graduation ceremony of Jianghai University was held in Heliang Great Auditorium. Heliangwei Auditorium was donated by He Liangwei, the richest man in Macau and a patriotic businessman. The whole building was built in a Chinese-style architectural style, with large-scale and advanced facilities. The seats on the upper and lower floors could accommodate 6,500 spectators. He Liangwei is a famous gambling king. He owns a 7-star Macau hotel and 3 luxury casinos. His business scope involves gambling, real estate, logistics, entertainment and other industries, with assets of more than 50 billion. The gambling king was born in a poor family. Before he finished high school, he ran to the street as a hawker selling fish eggs. Then, relying on his hard work and clever mind, he became an influential figure in Macau step by step, and became a legend in the modern metropolis. However, the most interesting thing is not his struggle experience, but the gambling king's boundless luck with women. He Liangwei is unattractive, but he has 7 wives. In addition to the original wife, the other 6 include 4 Australian misses and 2 Xiangjiang misses. He has a total of 19 children. He can be called a real winner in life. In his old age, He Liangwei is very enthusiastic about charity. Every year he donates more than 1 billion yuan in China, mainly to aid education and medical care. There are more than 100 buildings named after him, such as hospitals, libraries, auditoriums, laboratories, gymnasiums and so on. Heliang Great Auditorium of Jianghai University was completed 2 years ago and ranks in the forefront of the similar buildings in domestic universities. At 9 a.m. the auditorium was already full. Lu Qin and Gao He were sitting in the back seat of the lower floor, surrounded by their classmates. Because there is a half-year social practice period in the senior year, many familiar students have not seen each other for a long time. Everyone was naturally very happy to reunite here, talking and laughing and greeting each other with concern. But thinking that they will go their separate ways after today, they can't help but feel sad and nostalgic. Lu Qin applied for social practice half a year in advance. It has been a year since he left school. Many students specially came to chat with him, asked him about his current situation and future plans, and also invited him to start a business together. Tian. Lu Chen's relationship in the university is still very good. Although not everyone likes him, there are many people who are willing to become friends with him. Of course, there are also people who don't like him. For example, the thin and tall young man who just came over had a teasing look on his face, and his tone was very annoying. Lu Chen, how are you doing in the capital? It's not easy living in Beijing, right? Do you earn enough money to eat? Zhang Jinping, no one will think you're a mute if you don't speak. Before Lu Chen could answer, Gao He was angry. He abruptly stood up and looked down at the other party. Are you itching for a beating again? The tall and thin young man took half a step back and said resentfully, Gao He, don't bite Lu Dongbin. I asked Lu Chen because I want to help him. Next month I will join EasyNet company. Everyone is in Beijing so we can take care of each other. EasyNet is one of the top 10 web portals in the country and is listed on NASDAQ in the United States. For the computer science graduates of Jianghai University, it is undoubtedly a good choice for employment. Therefore, when this thin and tall young man called Zhang Jinping spoke, he did not conceal his pride. EasyNet company? Isn't that a famous pig farm? Zhou Rui said in a strange tone, well, that really suits you. The owner of EasyNet company spent a lot of money 2 years ago to open a modern and green pig farm. It is said that he lost tens of millions of yuan, so netizens called EasyNet a pig farm, and it has another meaning. Both Gao He and Wan Hongji laughed. Lu Chen also laughed and said, Zhang Jinping, I appreciate your kindness, but you should go back to your seat. Zhang Jinping is also a computer science major, but he is not in the same class as Lu Chen. This guy once pursued Wang Ying, but he was defeated by Lu Chen and became one of the many losers. Later, Lu Chen's family changed and he broke up with Wang Ying. Zhang Jinping was the one who gloated the most. He made a lot of sarcasm to Lu Chen and always looked like a coward. He probably thought that today was the last chance to hit Lu Chen, so he deliberately came over to ridicule him. As a result, he was directly killed by Gao He and Zhou Rui, and he was also humiliated. Lu Chen will not be serious with the other party. When he was at his lowest, he didn't put Zhang Jinping in his eyes. Let alone now. Zhang Jinping still wanted to sneer at him, but when he saw Gao He's unkind eyes, he finally left resentfully. He was really beaten by Gao He before. What the hell? Zhou Rui said contemptuously, I heard that after old San went to the capital, he also ran to chase Wang Ying. As a result, Wang Ying was too lazy to get rid of him. This time, I don't know who helped him get into the pig farm. Jianghai University is a key university in China. It has good exchanges with many well-known large enterprises. Every year, it will recommend a group of excellent graduates to these enterprises. Of course, those who can be recommended by the school are not necessarily the best students. Wan Hongji quietly pulled him, and Zhou Rui suddenly came to his senses and closed his mouth. In front of Lu Qin, don't mention Wang Ying. Lu Qin didn't care. He smiled and said, don't worry about him, the ceremony has begun. In the majestic music accompaniment, the 2011 graduation ceremony of Jianghai University officially began. In the beginning, the school leaders gave a speech. The content was nothing more than recalling the past and looking forward to the future. After the leaders finished speaking, it was the speech of the representatives of the outstanding graduates. Everyone listened drowsily until the diplomas were handed out. Jianghai University implemented a credit system. If you have enough credits, you can graduate. Lu Qin muddled along in his freshman and sophomore years. In his junior year, he worked hard to save enough credits for graduation. Otherwise, he would have to give up on getting a graduation certificate and go to the capital to work in the senior year. Lining up to take the heavy red certificate from the principal, Lu Qin could feel the weight of it. Although Lu Qin may not use this certificate in the future, it represents the past he once had. The happy, the sweet, the sad, the painful, the hard past. After receiving the graduation certificate and changing into a bachelor's robe, everyone ran to the lawn to take graduation photos. One for the computer science group, one for the classmates, one for the dormitory brothers. The continuous clicking sound, accompanied by laughter, formed the main melody in the university at this moment. Put aside the sadness of parting, please remember our college life. Don't forget 2015. At 7 o'clock in the evening, the graduation party was also held in Heliang Great Auditorium. Compared with the graduation ceremony during the day, the number of students who came to the graduation party was more. The auditorium with 6,500 seats had at least 8,000 plus people. Many of them stood in the aisles on both sides, and there were also some who sat together. Many people were not graduates of the 2011 class. They just came to watch the excitement and send off their seniors. The big stage for the performance was ready. The huge LED background screen constantly replayed the promotional video of Jianghai University. As the music sounded, the lights were turned on, and the two hosts of the party appeared first. Respected leaders, respected teachers, respected guests and friends who care about the development of Jianghai University, good evening, all the students of Jianghai University. First of all, let us use the warmest applause to say to the teachers who have paid countless efforts and sweat for our growth. Teachers, you have worked hard. With the cadence of the speech of the male and female hosts, Jianghai University's 2015 graduation party officially began. Warm applause sounded in the auditorium, like a summer storm. Dancing the melody of youth, fluttering the notes of youth, igniting the boiling enthusiasm, burning our dream of flying. We gather with a beautiful vision, full of joy. We are melancholy because we are about to leave. We meet in this colorful and gorgeous season. The eyes are full of emerald, bowing to touch the new green. Dear teachers, dear students, when we hear the cicadas in the summer, we usher in the last moment of separation. Tonight, nearly 10,000 teachers and students have gathered here, bringing with them a different kind of mood. When the host showed his eloquence on the stage, Lu Qin quietly came to the backstage of the auditorium. Chapter 76. Jianghai University's activities involving cultural performances are basically held in Heliang Great Auditorium. The scale of this auditorium is very large, and the backstage is also very spacious, with a director's room, dressing room, changing room, electronic room, props room, and even a shower room and a lounge. When Lu Qin came in, there were at least 100 or 200 people in the large dressing room, most of whom were students who were going to perform on stage. Many girls in beautiful costumes had put on makeup and gathered in twos and threes to chat and laugh. Lu Qin has participated in many cultural performances and is no stranger to the backstage of the auditorium. He found a seat in the corner and sat down calmly. He opened the guitar case and took out the guitar. While tuning, he practiced his hand. His performance in the evening is scheduled for 8:30, so it's still early. Lu Qin. Just as Lu Qin strummed the strings and hummed in a low voice, he suddenly heard a soft call from the side. Hearing this familiar voice, Lu Qin secretly sighed in his heart. He put down the guitar, turned around and asked, "Wang Ying, long time no see. What's the matter?" In front of Lu Qin is a girl in a white dress. She is about 160 meters tall and well-proportioned. She has an oval face and willow leaf eyebrows. She has long hair and thin makeup. She is quite an outstanding beauty. Wang Ying, who studied in the Chinese department of Jianghai University, is also Lu Chen's ex-girlfriend. Lu Chen's indifferent tone made Wang Ying frown. She hesitated and asked, Lu Chen, did Chao Xiuzhu tell you? My uncle's company in Hangzhou is recruiting people, and the position is very good. I know, the class monitor has already told me. Lu Chen interrupted, thank you for your kindness, but I plan to develop in the capital, so thank you. Lu Chen. Wang Ying's eyes flashed a touch of displeasure, and her voice rose a notch. Can you not be so stubborn? What future do you have in the capital? Even if you don't think for yourself, you have to consider the situation at home, right? Her face showed an expression of exasperation at his failure to meet her expectations. Lu Chen smiled instead. Wang Ying, it's been so long, but your temper hasn't changed? I don't think we have anything to talk about. Wang Ying was not angry. She asked thoughtfully, Lu Chen, do you still hate me? Lu Chen shook his head, got up and said to Wang Ying, I used to hate him, but now I have figured it out. I think even if nothing happened to my family, I'm afraid the two of us wouldn't have been together for long. Plus, I had my own problems back then, so no one needs to blame each other. When we meet again in the future, we'll still be classmates and friends. Wang Ying looked at Lu Chen in a daze. Such a rational and mature Lu Chen made her feel very unfamiliar, as if the person standing in front of her was another person. There is a sense of loss. After a while, she said in a daze, all right then, goodbye. After that, Wang Ying turned around and left, not very willing. Lu Chen smiled. He was very clear about Wang Ying's thoughts. It was nothing more than to make up for the guilt of breaking up with him. But he had nothing better to do. Staying in Hangzhou to get a very good job? As for the entanglement with Wang Ying, the past can't be recalled. Let the past be the past. Lu Chen just wanted to sit down again. Suddenly he felt something was wrong and subconsciously looked to the right. Just a few steps away from him, there was a beautiful woman with bright eyes and white teeth. The aqua-blue evening gown perfectly accentuated her graceful figure. A pair of insanely straight long legs were casually swaying. Her bright and spirited eyes carried a faint smile, and her exquisite picturesque face was pleasing to the eyes. She sat there quietly, but the light she emitted was enough to illuminate the darkest corner. Lu Chen couldn't help but be stunned. Su Xian? Su Xian was a very famous figure at Jianghai University. She was the department flower of the foreign languages department. She was a female top student who won a first-class scholarship every year. Moreover, she was versatile in singing and dancing. The number of pursuers was comparable to the number of carps crossing the river. Lu Chen knew Su Xian. Of course, there were not many people who didn't know her, but it was only limited to knowing her. He didn't expect that Su Xian would hide here alone. He didn't notice it just now. In Lu Chen's limited impression, Su Xian was always surrounded by a few attentive flower protectors. Su Xian blinked and said, Lu Chen, I didn't mean to eavesdrop on you too. Lu Chen couldn't help laughing. Sorry, there's nothing wonderful to disappoint you. Su Xian chuckled and immediately said, to be honest, I feel that Wang Ying still has feelings for you. Lu Chen and Wang Ying, the couple who used to be in love, were also a little famous at Jianghai University. Maybe, Lu Chen said, it's all in the past. Su Xian understood that he didn't want to talk more, so she changed the topic. It must be very difficult for you to develop in the capital, right? She rarely talked to boys because there were too many crazy bees and butterflies. It was really troublesome to say a few more words and cause others to misunderstand. Tonight, in order to avoid those pursuers, she deliberately ran to the corner of the backstage. As a result, she accidentally saw a dialogue between a former couple. Su Xian had heard a little gossip about Lu Chen before and appreciated his performance just now. A man should have self-respect, self-improvement and self-confidence. So she didn't mind chatting with Lu Chen for a few more words. Anyway, everyone will go their separate ways tomorrow. Lu Chen smiled and said, it's not easy. Takes a lot of effort. I hope I can succeed. He asked, what are your plans after graduation? This sentence was probably the most asked among the students today. Su Xian said, I'm going to Wharton Business School to study. Wharton? Lu Chen exclaimed, amazing. Wharton Business School was the world's #1 business school. It was affiliated with the University of Pennsylvania in the United States. It had a history of hundreds of years and had trained countless business elites and economists. However, it was extremely difficult to enter Wharton Business School. Lu Chen's sister, Lu Shi, had longed for this famous school, But the reality was that her choice was still a domestic school like Beijing University or Tsinghua University. Su Xian was extremely beautiful, and her academic performance was so outstanding that Lu Chen couldn't help but admire her. Su Xian smiled and said, "Thank you. If you have the opportunity to come to Philadelphia in the future, remember to have tea with me." Lu Chen smiled bitterly and said, "I don't even have your contact information." Lu Chen didn't have the idea of pursuing her, because he and Su Xian were undoubtedly people from two different worlds. However, they had a good chat now, so he mentioned it casually. Su Xian was very generous and directly gave Lu Chen her QQ number. "Private number, please don't give it to others." Lu Chen recorded it in his mobile phone. Su Xian got up and said, "It's almost my turn to go on stage. Goodbye, Lu Chen." Lu Chen also stood up and said, "Goodbye, Su Xian." He knew that the two probably wouldn't have many opportunities to see each other again. There was a touch of regret in his heart. Such a beautiful girl, even if they weren't a couple, it was a great fortune to be friends. Watching the figure of the other party disappear into the backstage, Lu Chen had just sat down when his buttocks just touched the surface of the chair. Chao Xiuzhu, the class monitor Chao, ran over gasping for breath and complained when they met. "Lu Chen, why are you hiding here? It took me a while to find you." Lu Chen was surprised. "What's wrong?" Chao Xiuzhu said, "Your performance has to be advanced. The two programs before you need time to prepare, so you are arranged to go on stage after the next program." Lu Chen said, "I'm going to faint." The university's gala was very random. Of course, large-scale programs had rehearsals and time arrangements in advance, but in case of an emergency, a solo program like his would have to go on stage. "Don't faint, I'm going to faint." Chao Xiuzhu was anxious. "Hurry up and get ready. Do you want me to help you with makeup?" "No need, no need." Lu Chen quickly said, "Help me send this to the director's room first and wait for me to play it on stage." He took out the USB from his pocket and handed it to Chao Xiuzhu. As early as last month, Chao Xiuzhu called Lu Chen and told him about Lu Chen's performance at the gala, so he made a music video early to accompany his performance. "No problem." Chao Xiuzhu took the USB and hurried to the director's room. Lu Chen exhaled. He turned around and looked at himself in the mirror of the dressing table. "I have to work hard." Chapter 77. Girls in rainbow-colored feather dresses walked briskly down the stairs leading to the backstage like butterflies. The relatively narrow space was filled with the fragrance of cosmetics that could make people's heart beat faster. These beautiful girls had just finished a dance performance, and the applause in the auditorium had not yet subsided. They were talking and laughing, and the sweat on their foreheads was mixed with gold powder, shining under the light of the wall lamps. Lu Chen, with his guitar, politely turned sideways and pressed his back against the wooden wall to make way for them. Several girls looked at Lu Chen curiously and kept walking past him, leaving a string of silver bell-like laughter. On the stage outside, the host was announcing, "Thank you for the wonderful performance of the 24 beautiful girls just now. The next program is from the computer science application major, a male solo. His name is Lu Chen. Let's welcome him to the stage with applause." As soon as his voice fell, Lu Chen, who was already standing at the exit of the stage, immediately stepped forward and stood under the spotlight. Facing nearly 10,000 alumni and teachers at the scene, he showed a confident smile. After the baptism of the light blue music carnival, even in the face of a large audience, Lu Chen would not be nervous. He believed in his own song. Applause rang out. Although it wasn't very enthusiastic, many students still gave face to him. In particular, Lu Chen's classmates were desperately clapping their hands, and the loud whistling sound was very professional. Lu Chen was tall and handsome. His family used to be rich, but he did not have the kind of playboy of a rich family. Moreover, he was usually very willing to help others, so his popularity among his classmates has always been quite good. Many people knew about the changes in Lu Chen's family, and they also knew that he ran out early to work to make money. Their applause was their support and admiration for Lu Chen, because it was not easy to do what he did. In seat number 19 of the 37th row of Heliang Great Auditorium, Wang Ying raised her hand and clapped twice, then immediately put it down. She stared at Lu Chen standing in the center of the stage and suddenly felt that the latter was very strange. The girl sitting next to Wang Ying quietly leaned over and asked in a low voice, "Why, do you still miss him?" Wang Ying shook her head blankly. She didn't know what was wrong with her. They had broken up for so long, and the two of them had made it clear. But there was always an emotion lingering in his heart. The girl next door advised earnestly, Don't think too much about it since we've already split up. What's the use of being handsome now? With your qualifications you can totally find someone better than him. For example, that Chinpeng is very good. Wang Ying frowned and said, he and I have already passed and I didn't think much about it. The girl next door chuckled and said, that's right. For us girls, finding a suitable husband is the most important thing. It's so tiring to work hard in society. The housing prices in Hangzhou are so expensive. It's not worth it to suffer with a handsome guy. Wang Ying listened to it in one ear and out the other. She didn't know where her mind had drifted. At this moment, Lu Chen was speaking into the microphone and said, thank you for your applause. The song I'm going to sing here tonight is written by myself, and it's the first time I'm singing it in public. I'll give this song to all the girls, all the junior sisters and senior sisters. Because it's because of you that Jianghai University is a truly beautiful campus. I wish you will always be young and beautiful. There were countless laughter in the auditorium, and many girls applauded again, more enthusiastic applause. Most of the boys were envious, jealous and hateful, and there was no lack of secretly cursing. Using original works to please girls? You're dreaming. If you don't sing well you'll be booed off the stage. Let's see if you can act cool. Handsome guys, especially handsome guys who can play the guitar, are the most annoying. However, Lu Chen did not feel the resentment from the single people. He turned his head and gave a thumbs up to the director on the sidelines, indicating that he could start. After a while, the image of the new song's music video appeared on the huge screen behind Lu Chen. He gently plucked the strings and played the prelude, gently and softly. The first thing that appeared on the LED screen was the virtual scenery of Jianghai University, and then the silhouettes of girls accompanied by sketched flowers quietly appeared, setting off the 4 hand-painted artistic words, those flowers. That laughter reminds me of my flowers, quietly blooming for me in every corner of my life. I thought I would always stay by her side. Today we've left in the vast sea of people. Are they all old? Where are they? Just like this, we run to the ends of the world. Blah. Miss her. Blah. Is she still blooming? Blah. Go. They've been blown away by the wind, scattered to the ends of the world. A touch of sadness, a touch of nostalgia, a low singing about the past. Lu Chen's playing was simple and concise, but the beautiful melody and lyrics made this song have the power to hit the heart. Especially those girls, they looked at the familiar or unfamiliar photos that appeared in the music video on the big screen. Those were the memories of their youth, those running, hugging, jumping, playing. The past reappeared in front of their eyes, happy, sad, sweet, excited. They were about to graduate, about to be blown away by the wind, scattered to the ends of the world. Some stories haven't been told yet, so let's forget it. Those feelings have been difficult to distinguish between true and false in the years. Now the weeds are overgrown here and there are no flowers. Fortunately, I once had your spring and autumn, winter and summer. Blah. Miss her. Blah. Is she still blooming? Blah. Go. They've been blown away by the wind, scattered to the ends of the world. Are they all old? Where are they? Just like this, we run to the ends of the world. The auditorium, which can accommodate thousands of spectators, was very quiet. There was no applause, no laughter, no talking. Everyone was listening to Lu Chen singing. Some girls were already sobbing. The song aroused the romantic hope and the involuntary sadness in their hearts. Like dandelion flowers that bloomed unexpectedly in the right time and place, their souls seemed to be lost along with the fluttering flower catkins and could never be recovered. Lu Chen played and hummed, memories surged. The flower that left the most profound mark in his life was his senior sister, Wan. She appeared at the time when Lu Chen was at his lowest. At that time his father had just passed away and he broke up with Wang Ying. After experiencing great changes in his life, he was decadent and gloomy like a walking corpse. An Wan's appearance, like a bright sunshine, dispelled the darkness and haze in Lu Chen's heart. She used her tenderness to soothe Lu Chen's wounded heart, so that Lu Chen finally got rid of his depression and faced life again with a strong will. But Lu Chen couldn't keep Wan. After graduation, she emigrated to England with her family. Even Lu Chen's best friends didn't know about this relationship, and he didn't tell anyone. He had always suppressed it in his heart. Today he sang this song here precisely for Wan. Her photo was also in the MV, smiling brightly. Are they all old? Where are they? Just like this, we run to the ends of the world. Unknowingly, Lu Chen's eyes were wet with tears. He had never sung so emotionally and his voice was choked. In the audience, many girls had already burst into tears. They either sobbed alone, or hugged each other to comfort each other, wantonly venting the emotions that were aroused in their hearts. Wang Ying bit her lips, and the look in her eyes was extremely complicated. Intuition told her that this song of Lu Qin was sung for his most beloved person. That person was not her. She was also moved by the song, but when she thought of this, her heart seemed to be bitten by a poisonous snake. Strong jealousy and pain, as if she had lost her most cherished treasure. The picture of the MV was finally fixed on a photo. On a drizzling afternoon in the depths of the old streets and alleys, the silhouette of a gentle and moving woman holding a paper umbrella. The dense water vapor made the lens hazy, and it was impossible to capture her true face. But that beauty, like an orchid in an empty valley, was destined to become one of the most profound memories of all the witnesses. Lu Qin finished singing. He straightened his chest and said to the microphone, "Those flowers, thank you everyone." He wanted to thank all the flowers that appeared in his 22-year-old life. Because of their existence, life is wonderful. Note, those flowers lyrics/song, Pu Shu. Chapter 78. In Lu Qin's dream world, Those Flowers was a classic created by a talented singer. This low-key, beautiful and slightly sad folk song had touched countless people. It had been repeatedly sung by other singers and often appeared in school art parties. It could be called a graduation song. Although it was in a different space, the charm of this song did not fade in the slightest. It could easily evoke the feelings hidden deep in people's hearts, especially those who had loved, been in love, been hurt, and experienced the same parting. It naturally resonated strongly. So many girls were crying. The song was full of gentle memories and reverie, but in the end, it could not overcome the faint sorrow of parting. Just like that, we go our separate ways. And in Those Flowers, Lu Qin poured his most sincere feelings into it. He used the song to say goodbye to his youth in school. Those flowers, thank you everyone. Lu Qin bowed deeply. The applause suddenly exploded, like artillery fire on a battlefield, fierce and lasting. Many girls stood up. Their eyes were filled with tears, and they clapped their delicate palms hard. Even if they were red and painful, they did not care. The boys also stood up. Their way of expressing their feelings was more direct, which was to shout loudly. Well sung. Sing it again. One more song. Soon all the cheers and shouts turned into the simplest word, charge. Charge. Without experiencing the baptism of social reality, most of these boys and girls retained simple and sincere feelings. They liked it, they were touched, and they would not be stingy with their praise and applause. Lu Qin straightened up and nodded. Thank you. He took a deep breath, then turned around and walked backstage. It was over. Charge. 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 However, the orderly shouting from below the stage did not disappear because of Lu Qin's departure. Instead, it became more intense and loud. That kind of high-spirited and surging momentum seemed to be able to overturn the dome of the auditorium. The man's voice was powerful, and the woman's voice was delicate. They completely merged into one voice. Charge. A few school leaders and teachers in the first 2 rows of the auditorium could no longer sit still. They stood up, turned around, and waved their arms to signal the students to quiet down and not disturb the performance. However, no one paid any attention to them. Their authority had already expired on graduation day. Many people looked at each other and did not know what to do. After all, it was rare for such a situation to occur in a school cultural performance. It was almost impossible to encounter such a situation. Even Lu Qin himself did not expect that. Just as he was about to walk down the stairs, the host of the evening party rushed over and stopped him. Lu Qin, come back and sing another song. The university students were all passionate and impulsive. If the atmosphere was not controlled, something big might happen. The host's face turned pale. All right. Lu Qin also realized the seriousness of the situation and quickly returned to the center of the stage. As he appeared again, the excited shouts quickly calmed down, but everyone was still standing. Lu Qin sorted out his thoughts and said to the microphone, Thank you everyone. Thank you for liking this song so much. Then I will sing another song for you. It is also a song that I wrote myself. I hope you like it. His name is Song of Time. Warm applause rang out, as dense as rain falling on banana leaves. But in an instant it disappeared completely. Because Lu Qin began to sing. Time is slower than you and the world is 1 year older, how can I not be anxious? Youth has fled. For so many years you always say that meeting hasn't changed, but the photo remembers the young man's face. What hasn't changed is this infatuation, what has changed is this time. So many years of youth, never to return, and also met people who made me miss. This world is still this world, but it turns out that you and I are long gone. Playing the guitar casually, Lu Qin sang softly, using his voice to bring all the audience back to the past, to reminisce the beauty of the past, and to miss the people who came and went in their lives. This song had the same sentimentality as Those Flowers, but it was more nostalgic. Just like the chorus. This time shaking and shaking, this time turning and spinning. This time turning and spinning, this time turning and spinning. Accompanied by Lu Chen's clear, clean and slightly sad singing, an indescribable atmosphere enveloped the auditorium. Everyone unconsciously sat down again and quietly listened to him play and sing. It was also quiet backstage. The facilities in the auditorium were very advanced. There was a television screen in the backstage area, where one could watch the live broadcast of the stage. Almost everyone in the large dressing room was gathered in front of the screen. Chao Xiuzhu was one of them. She had just shed tears, and there were still sparkling tears in the corners of her eyes. She was not the only one who was crying. So many years of youth, never to return, and I've met people who make me miss. But what hasn't changed is this infatuation. What has changed is this piece of time. I want to sing a ballad of time for you so that my youth won't grow old. I want to sing a ballad of time for you so that my youth won't grow old. Our youth won't grow old. After playing the last part, Lu Qin did not thank him again. Instead, he quietly bowed and left the stage. Let everyone slowly savor the rest. This time, no one asked him to stay and return to the stage, because everyone was still immersed in the atmosphere created by the song. Lu Qin returned backstage smoothly. As soon as he came down, a figure suddenly pounced on him and hugged him. Lu Qin was shocked. He took a closer look and hurriedly shouted, "Hey hey hey, class monitor Chao, don't hug indecent people." It was Chao Xiuzhu who hugged him. The female class monitor loosened her arms with red eyes and said, "Lu Qin, you sang so well. I didn't know you were so talented." Lu Qin smiled and said, "I'm a late bloomer." At this time, many people around Lu Qin surrounded him and clapped their hands at the same time. Whether it was those who were about to perform on the stage or those who had already returned from the performance, they paid tribute to Lu Qin with neat, warm and sincere applause. Lu Qin was surprised and moved. He couldn't express it and could only say, thank you everyone. Thank you." Su Xian was also in the crowd. She was smiling and giving her blessings. At the end of the graduation party, when Lu Qin and Gao He returned to the dormitory, it was already 11:30. Everyone didn't speak and lay on their beds. This was their last night in college. "Goodbye, my King youth." No one knew who shouted hoarsely, but it broke the silence of the night and came through the glass window, as if it was a wounded lone wolf. "Goodbye, my college." Boom. There was a low sound of something exploding. Boom, boom, boom. This sound seemed to be contagious, spreading quickly like a plague. Gao He, who was sleeping on Lu Chen's lower bunk, suddenly turned over and stood up, and his head hit Lu Chen's bedboard heavily. But this Qilu man didn't care at all. He picked up the hot water bottle on the ground, then pushed open the glass window, smashed the hot water bottle down, and shouted out of the window with all his strength, "Wang Shaoling, I love you. Come home with me." Lu Qin, Wan Hongji and Zhou Rui looked at each other and were speechless to comfort him. Wan Hongji silently picked up his hot water bottle and followed Gao He down the stairs. "Son of a bitch." Lu Qin laughed and immediately jumped out of bed. "Let's smash it together." Hot water bottle, basin, toothbrush jar, trash can, textbook. The entire dormitory area of the university quickly became a crazy battlefield, and everyone threw everything that can be thrown out. The sounds of crashing, shattering, shouting, crying echoed in the empty night for a long time. This is our youth. When he couldn't smash anything, Gao He leaned over and pulled out a box of canned beer from under the bed. He grabbed a few cans of beer and threw them to Lu Qin and others. He opened one himself and said in a hoarse voice, "The last night of college we will open our eyes, no one will sleep." As soon as his voice fell, the door of the dormitory was pushed open. Appearing at the door, it was a petite girl with tears on her face. She sobbed and said, "Gao He, I will go home with you." Patter. The beer can in Gao He's hand suddenly fell to the ground, and the mixed foam splashed out. Little by little it splashed on his body. Note: Ballad of Time lyrics/composer. Wang Fanrui. The lyrics have been slightly changed. Chapter 79. On June 10th, Lu Qin returned to Beijing. Waving away the melancholy of graduation, he cheered up and went on his way again. From now on, his identity is no longer a college student in the ivory tower, but a real fresh person in society. The road is long and far and I will search up and down. At this moment, Lu Qin didn't know what was waiting for him in the future. He didn't know whether he was about to embark on a bright road covered with flowers or a dangerous path full of thorns. But he was fearless and full of expectations. Thursday, June 11th, overcast. Lu Qin came to the Dalong Building in the 4th Ring Road of Beijing. The Dalong Building is a 58-story office building located in the most prosperous financial and business district of the 4th Ring Road. Lu Qin came here twice some time ago and participated in the production of 2 singles by the Bionics in Tianjai Music Workshop on the 35th floor. Tianjai Music Workshop is very famous in the Beijing pop music scene. It was established 10 years ago, mainly engaged in music production and promotion business, with complete and advanced equipment and a group of excellent professionals. Many big names in the industry have produced their works through Tianjai Music Workshop. In order to launch the first shot into pop music, Light Rain Media put its first album in Tianjai Music Workshop. First in quality. Although Lu Qin's participation was not deep, he had a deep understanding of the strength of Tianjai Music Workshop. So he wanted to hand over his album to Tianjai to complete. The idea of making a solo album began to germinate when Lu Qin signed with Whale TV. Later, it was not until after the PK theme show that Yunjing Music Network's editor Sui and discussed with him that he really made up his mind. Lu Qin wants to use this album as a stepping stone to enter the pan-entertainment circle. So he attaches great importance to it and takes it as the first major event after returning to Beijing. In the customer reception room of Tianjai Music Workshop, Lu Qin first met the other party's business representative. The business representative's surname was Ni, and she was in her 30s. She was a typical white-skinned woman in the workplace. Her makeup was exquisite and she was well-dressed. Although the smile on her face was slightly professional, it did not make people feel neglected. Miss Ni spoke softly, "Mr. Lu Qin, this is our company's price list for music production, which includes 5 sets of ABCD. Of course, if you have special requirements, our company can also tailor-make it for you." Lu Qin nodded, took the price list and looked at it carefully. The first 2 times he came to Tianjai Music Workshop, he was there to help, and he didn't inquire about the price. Now he had an eye-opener. This price list was specifically for album production, including all the costs of arrangement, recording and post-production. Among the 5, the lowest E package was quoted at 100,000 yuan, and the highest A package was quoted at 1 million yuan. The difference was 10 times. Before coming to Tianjai Music Workshop, Lu Qin knew something about single and album production. Beijing is the center of the national cultural industry. There are countless entertainment and media companies. There are as many as millions of people in the entertainment-related industry. Big and small music studios, recording studios, and professional production companies are everywhere. If you just want to play and don't pay attention to quality, you can directly place an order online to commission the production of a personal album. And if you want to experience the feeling of recording in the studio, spending 1 or 2,000 yuan can also meet the needs. Of course, these are pure amateurs. If you really want to produce a high-quality single or album, the cost is very high. 10 or 20,000 yuan per song is the basic, and hundreds of thousands of yuan is not too expensive. You get what you pay for. So, although there are so many singers drifting in Beijing, many people have never released a real album in their lives. In addition to the song itself, the cost of production is the key, and there are also publicity and distribution later. If they can't sell it, they will lose money. As for the songs made for thousands of yuan, they can't find a channel at all, and it would be embarrassing to give them away for free. As a senior company in the industry, Tianjai Music Workshop is very professional. The price list lists the various costs included in the 5 packages in detail, so that people can see clearly. After reading it, Lu Qin was most satisfied with the C package, which has well-known arrangers and producers in the industry plus band accompaniment, high-level recording and post-production. The price is 500,000 yuan, which is equivalent to 50,000 yuan for a song. It's not that the AB package is not as good as the C package, but the price of the AB package is not what Lu Qin can afford at all. Even if it's the C package, he can't afford it now. As for the 250,000 yuan D package and the 100,000 yuan package, compared with the C package, they are not very sincere. If you don't manage the family, you don't know the cost of daily necessities. Lu Qin secretly sighed. He held the price list and asked tentatively, "Miss and I, if I choose the C package, how much discount can your company give me?" He heard Qin Hanyang mention last time that he could bargain with the production company. Miss and I said sincerely, Mr. Liu, I can give you a 95% discount at most with my authority. If you can ask our manager or director to sign it, the lowest discount is 10%. Lu Chen gave up when he heard this. Not to mention that he didn't know the manager and director of Qinzhai Music Workshop at all, and even if he could get the other party's signature, a 10% discount would still cost 450,000 yuan. Lu Chen knows that if he doesn't come forward personally, but talks with an industry company like Light Rain Media, it is estimated that the price will be lower. Who told him to do it alone? As the saying goes, a big tree is a good shade. Although signing a contract with an entertainment media company will lose a lot of freedom and rights and interests, there are also many conveniences such as production and distribution. There is no need to worry about and publicity efforts. But Lu Chen doesn't regret his choice. He thought about it and said, "Then I'll think about it. Miss and I, can I take this price list with me?" Miss and I smiled sweetly and said, "Absolutely. If you have any questions you can also ask me directly." Her business card was given to Lu Chen when they met. "Thank you." Lu Chen left Qinzhai Music Workshop with the price list. In fact, for Lu Chen now, 450,000 yuan is really not too big a number. He can earn it over a period of time, or he can find a way to sell 2 songs. However, this involves another problem, that is, with such a large investment, can he earn back the cost? Lu Chen is not sure. He has made some achievements in online live broadcasting and has a large number of fans, but he is not even a newcomer in the entertainment industry. He is still an outsider and has no influence at all. Moreover, online albums also involve piracy. Online albums are sold at very low prices, but not many people are willing to pay for them, because free pirated resources can soon be found after the album is released. The same principle applies to Whale TV. Don't look at him having hundreds of thousands of fish powder. It's like a reward. Only a small number of people are really willing to pay for it. The album is 100% going to be released, but Lu Chen doesn't want to lose money, and he refuses to compromise on quality. That's very problematic. The idea is beautiful, but the reality is too cruel. With a tangled mind, he took the elevator down to the ground floor of the Delong building. As soon as he stepped out of the elevator, a middle-aged man suddenly strode over and stopped Lu Chen. "Sir, are you going to make songs in Qinzhai Music Workshop?" The middle-aged man, who was about 50 years old, was thin and wore a suit that was not very fitting, so it looked loose. He looked a little nervous when he spoke, and his eyes were more focused on the security guard in the hall not far away. "Ah." Lu Chen was stunned and asked curiously, "What can I do for you?" The middle-aged man breathed a sigh of relief. He immediately took out a business card from his pocket and handed it to Lu Chen with both hands. "I'm Wang Changxing, manager of Nirvana Music Production Studio. Can we talk?" He spoke quite fast, with a trace of uneasiness and expectation. Nirvana Music Production Studio? Lu Chen thought about it and didn't have the slightest impression of it. He hesitated and said, "All right." He was mainly curious. There was a tea house on the first floor of the Delong building. The two found a place to sit down and ordered a pot of tea. After sitting down, Lu Chen's first question was, "Manager Wang, how did you know that I was going to make songs in Qinzhai Music Workshop?" The studio manager named Wang Changxing pointed to the price list that Lu Chen had put on the table and said with embarrassment, "I saw this thing in your hand, so I came to try my luck." Lu Chen couldn't help laughing. Chapter 80. There are many music production companies in Beijing, and there are even more small studios. In the Delong building alone, there are Qinzhai Workshop, Golden Disc Culture, Sunshine Records and other well-known music production units in the industry, and the competition between them is very fierce. Although Lu Chen's first choice for making a solo album was Qinzhai Workshop, the latter was not the only choice. He didn't expect that there would be a small studio soliciting business in the lobby of the Delong building. It's really hard to do business these days. While sighing, Lu Chen chatted with Wang Changxing, the manager of Nirvana Studio, in front of him for a few minutes. Wang Changxing dared to come here to solicit customers because he had some confidence. This Nirvana Studio has an independent recording studio and band. Its members include 3 graduates of Beijing Conservatory of Music, who can complete all the work from composition to the later stage. The most important thing is that their prices are cheap. Wang Changxing said, "Our studio has the ability to guarantee the production quality of Qinzhai Workshop's D package. The price is only 100,000 yuan, and an album is only 100,000 yuan. Wang Changxing is certainly not a shrewd businessman. He was obviously nervous when he offered the price. His eyes were fixed on Lu Qin, and his hands were involuntarily clenched into fists, as if he was worried that he would be ruthlessly rejected by the latter. But he said the previous sentence very confidently. And he knows Qinzhai Workshop very well. Lu Qin feels a little interesting. The price of Qinzhai Workshop's D package is 250,000 yuan. Wang Changxing asked for 100,000 yuan, and there is obviously room for bargaining. There should be no problem cutting down a little more. But how can the other party guarantee the same quality? Qinzhai Workshop's recording studio alone is said to have cost millions of yuan, and its advanced facilities are among the best in the industry. Lu Qin doesn't believe that Nirvana Studio will have such a big investment. Otherwise, as a manager, why does he need to run to pull business by himself? And it's like waiting for a rabbit. Lu Qin didn't think he was the rabbit hitting the tree. He thought about it and said, "Manager Wang, I'm going to release a solo album, but the quality requirements are very high. At present it's Qinzhai Workshop, so I'm sorry." Qinzhai Workshop's D package is not Lu Qin's choice. If he wants a cheaper package, he can also choose the E package. At least it was more reliable than a small, unknown studio, right? Then I'm really sorry to disturb you. I'm sorry for wasting your time. Wang Changxing awkwardly waved his hand and said, "I should be the one apologizing. Then goodbye." Lu Qin couldn't help but laugh. He wasn't mocking him. He just felt that this person wasn't a businessman and didn't even know the basics of negotiation. However, he had a better impression of Wang Changxing. Lu Qin stood up and took the initiative to extend his hand. "Manager Wang, I'll contact you again if there's a need." Good. Wang Changxing hurriedly got up and shook hands with Lu Qin. "Thank you." Lu Qin nodded and left the tea house. When he left, Lu Qin also paid the bill. By the way, a pot of tea here was not cheap. Wang Changxing sat for a while longer. When he called the waiter to pay the bill, he found that Lu Qin had already paid the bill. He hurriedly ran out to catch up with Lu Qin, but he couldn't find the latter. Lu Qin returned to his home and spent the afternoon sorting out the songs of the album. There are 10 songs in an album. He originally finalized 6 songs: You Who Sat Next to Me, Love in the Wind, The Brother Who Slept on My Upper Bunk, Cinderella, The Bright Times of Youth, and Beauty. Now he can add Those Flowers, and Ballad of Time. The 8 songs are unified and classic enough. For the first album in his life, Lu Qin will never be careless. After careful consideration, Once You was also added to the album list. Once You is not a folk song but a light rock style, but Lu Qin likes this song very much. He decided to use this song as the ending song of the album, which is a little surprise egg. In fact, it's really extravagant to think about it. Whether it's You Who Sat Next to Me, Love in the Wind, or Those Flowers, or even Beauty, any song is qualified to be the title song of an album for publicity and promotion. Lu Qin put them all in the same album, which felt a bit of a waste of natural resources. Owning the treasures of a world is so capricious. As for the 10th song, Lu Qin has already thought about it. This song is also a folk song, the same nostalgic style and very nostalgic. Just listen to it. The open space below my house is a cinema, it no longer appears on summer nights. Today's children don't know the past, the world people were intoxicated with at that time. When I grew up, I watched them perform love. When they kissed I felt sad. Under the screen children played games. In the movie someone cried for her. There are no open-air cinemas in the city. I can't see the opposite side of the screen anymore. Are you still playing the game of that time? You can't see the stars when you watch the movie. When Lu Qin finished singing this soothing, delicate and even a little poignant new song, the barrage in Lu Fei's live broadcast room was like a tide. It's so beautiful. Lu Feida is so talented. It's very nostalgic. I like it. It reminds me of when I was a child. The lyrics are so well written and the melody is even better. What's the name of this song? I strongly request to sing it again. No, it's 10 more times. Sing it 10 more times plus 1. Lu Qin put down the guitar and said with a smile, the name of this song is called Open Air Cinema. It's the first time I've sung it in the live broadcast room. It's to make up for what I owe you during this period of time, and I hope you can like it. He went home and attended the graduation ceremony, so the live broadcast was temporarily suspended for a few days. When it was restarted this evening, the online popularity of the live broadcast room was much less. At first, there were only 300,000 plus. Therefore, in addition to singing a new song, Lu Qin also wanted to announce a piece of good news. After a pause, he continued, in addition to telling everyone one more thing, that is, I'm going to rearrange all the songs I've written before, make a real album and then publish it on the internet. When the time comes, everyone is welcome to buy and download it. As soon as his voice fell, the live broadcast room suddenly burst into an uproar. What? An album? I didn't hear it wrong, did I? Lu Feida is mighty. That's great, I've been looking forward to this day. Host Big, which website will your album be published on? Don't say anything else. When the time comes, I'll inform all my friends and classmates to buy the original album. Yes, we support the original album. An online album costs 10 yuan. The students say that there's no pressure. It's just skipping breakfast. The one in front is really a nouveau riche. Eating breakfast costs 10 yuan. But I want the CD more. CD plus 1. CD plus 2. CD plus 10,000. Along with the bullet screen, there were countless fish balls and aircraft carriers given by the nouveau riche. This was the most direct way for fish fans to express their joy. The atmosphere in the live broadcast room became extremely warm, and the popularity value rose steadily due to the emergence of heavy rewards. Although Lu Chen's every live broadcast was recorded, and all the songs he sang could be found in the forum Fish Nest, a specially produced music album was a completely different matter. So far, apart from the hundreds of thousands of fish fans, Lu Chen has a group of real fans. They like the style of Lu Chen's live broadcast, like his original works, and like nostalgic or sad folk songs. On the days when they couldn't see Lu Chen's live broadcast, they would repeatedly watch the past videos, listen to his songs over and over again, and spare no effort to recommend them to others. These fans were no longer simple fans but fans, celebrity fans. And they also had the strongest reaction to Lu Chen's upcoming album, and they most hoped that he could release a CD at the same time. What kind of album is an online album? A CD is the real album. Many Lu Fei fans expressed through the bullet screen that they would buy CDs to support Lu Chen. Their strong appeal, of course, was seen by Lu Chen. Lu Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It was not easy to release a CD album than to release an online album, and it was easier to lose money. There were too few people who bought CDs to listen to songs. However, the enthusiasm and eagerness of the fish fans gave Lu Chen a sudden flash of inspiration in his mind. In fact, it was not impossible to release an online album and a CD album at the same time. His idea came from the dream world, and it seemed that it had not appeared in this world. While Lu Chen was communicating with fans in the live broadcast room, the first single of the Bionics under Light Rain Media also began its first wave of promotion on the internet that night. Note: Outdoor Cinema Lyrics/Composer, Yu Dong. Chapter 81. Drip. Just after dinner, Qin Jian sat in front of the computer as usual. He skillfully opened the small blue tab in the browser's favorites bar and linked it to Yushur. The middle-aged Qin Jian was a salaryman who worked 7 to 6. He had a gentle and kind wife and a lively and lovely daughter. At the same time, he was burdened with a heavy mortgage and family responsibilities. Therefore, he quit smoking and playing games and reduced the number of times he went out with his friends. While living frugally, he spent most of his free time in his small study, surfing the internet, reading news, novels, movies, and videos. Yushur is the earliest and largest video website in China. It claims to have hundreds of millions of registered members. Qin Jian likes to watch all kinds of colorful video programs on it, because they are all free. The mouse wheel had just rolled twice, and Qin Jian still hadn't found the content he liked. Suddenly, a small pop-up window popped up and intruded into his line of sight. There are more and more advertisements on Yushur, Qin Jian muttered discontentedly. Of course, he was already used to the discriminatory treatment of being a free member. He accepted his fate and opened the pop-up video window. This was because clicking on the advertisement could increase the points needed to exchange for an official member. The pop-up video instantly expanded to the entire screen, and the image was quite clear. The first thing that caught Qin Jian's eyes was the scene of a bustling metropolis. He could easily tell that this was the capital city. Then the camera swooped down at high speed into an underground passageway. The spacious underground passage was clean and tidy. It was very lively with people coming and going. The men and women in the city rubbed shoulders with each other, and their footsteps were as fast as the rhythm of the city. On one side of the underground tunnel, there were many street performers performing. Some of them were performing magic, some were showing off their dance skills, and some were singing in low voices, hoping that their performances could impress the passers-by. The camera moved forward and finally stopped on a street band. The middle-aged singer stood in front of the microphone with a guitar in his arms. His eyes were filled with the vicissitudes of life, as if he was reminiscing. The four drummers, keyboardists, bassists and guitarists leaned against the wall, motionless like frozen statues. After a while, the noise in the underground passage gradually disappeared, and the prelude of the music started. It was as if the band had suddenly woken up from a deep sleep. The performance began. I remember that spring many years ago. At that time I hadn't cut my long hair yet. No credit card, no her. A home without 24-hour hot water. But back then I was so happy. Although it was only a broken wooden guitar, in the street, under the bridge, in the field, singing the song that no one cared about. When the slightly hoarse voice was transmitted to Chen Jian's ears through the small speaker that cost a few hundred yuan, his hand that was holding the mouse suddenly became extremely stiff. His index finger that was pressing on the left button couldn't be pressed. Originally he had planned to close it. This song was like a bolt of lightning that suddenly broke through the defenses in his heart. It made him feel the emotions that he had suppressed in the bottom of his heart for a long, long time, to the point where he thought they had long disappeared, suddenly burst forth. If one day I have no one to rely on, leave me here in that time. If one day I left quietly, bury me in the ground in the spring. Countless memories emerged in his mind. He used to be young and frivolous. He used to be high-spirited. Now Chen Jian did not have the impulsive passion of the past. His days were calm and peaceful. He cherished his current life very much. It was tiring but happy, but he always felt that something was missing, but he couldn't tell what it was. Until I heard this song. Chen Jian had not shed tears since he was 10 years old, but at this moment he had the urge to cry. He watched the not very long MV in a daze, but he didn't press the mouse. At this time, the door of the study was suddenly pushed open. A little head with a small braid poked in. Her big black eyes looked curiously at Chen Jian, who was in a daze. She looked very puzzled. Biting her finger, the little girl turned her head and shouted, "Mom, it's terrible. Dad is crying." "Xiaonan, don't shout." Chen Jian suddenly woke up as if he had just woken up from a dream. He almost fell off the chair. He hurriedly shook off the mouse and raised his hand to wipe the corners of his eyes. It was really a little wet. The sound of footsteps came from afar. Chen Jian's wife appeared at the door of the study and asked, "What's wrong?" The little girl said with certainty, "I saw Dad crying. It's shameful." Chen Jian was so ashamed that he became angry. "I'm not crying. Dad's eyes are sore and he just took eye drops. He's not crying." His wife smiled. She leaned over and picked up the little girl, then closed the door. "Let's not disturb Dad." Chen Jian finally breathed a sigh of relief. His attention returned to the screen. The picture on the screen froze at the last frame. It showed the name of the song and the singer, In the Spring/The Bionics. Chen Jian calmed down, held the mouse, opened the website link of the video, and logged into the comment area. He wanted to say something. If he didn't say it, he was afraid that he would lose sleep at night. The comment area of this video titled, "The New Power of Rock and Roll in the Spring," has been very lively. The number of comments is as high as 50,000. In addition to VIP members, video advertising is the most important profit point of Wuxia. Based on the huge number of registered users, the cost of buying the homepage pop-up window is very high. Originally, the customers of the homepage pop-up window were basically product advertisers. Later, because the website users were very disgusted, coupled with the rise of the entertainment industry, the content of the pop-up window was changed to pop music, film and television previews, variety promotions and so on. Many famous singers often buy a pop-up window on the home page of Wuxia for a few days when they release a new song. The effect of promotion and publicity is quite good and can attract a lot of attention. For thousands of visitors to Wuxia, the Bionics is a completely strange band, but this does not prevent them from loving this song, In the Spring. A really good song. It's been downloaded and saved. You have to listen to it at least 10 times. It's a very tasty song, a rare light rock and roll masterpiece in recent times. It's well written and sung. Does anyone know if the Bionics have other works? Is it a new band? I didn't find it on the internet. It's very touching, but it's two vicissitudes. I want to cry when I listen to it. What should I do? Isn't the original poster's tier point too low? Although this song is really good. From now on, I'm the Bionics Rice. It's the first time I've finished reading the home page pop-up window of Wuxia. It's my first time too. One of the registered members named Minyi Chang and wrote in the comment post, "If life has not experienced suffering, then it will never be able to experience the happiness of life itself. Suffering is part of the happiness of life, and happiness is a sublimation of suffering." Whenever we look back on the past, how can we not cry? Recalling those who have experienced suffering but the most worth recovering youth, there is always a touch of nostalgia in our hearts. But sadness does not mean depression. We sigh at the common suffering of life in the past, but we should know how to cherish the beauty and happiness of the present. I think that's what this song in the spring wants to tell us. Thank you, the Bionics, for letting me experience a touch and let me hear a really good song. In this ostentatious and noisy world, good songs like this were really too rare. The post, Mingi Chang and, was pinned by the administrator and received 30,000 plus likes. Mingi Chang and is Chin Jian. The first single in the spring by the Bionics, a subsidiary of Light Rain Media, debuted on Wuxia. The number of hits exceeded 5 million that night, with more than 100,000 comments and 85% of the audience liked it. Such data is undoubtedly the beginning of a big hit. Immediately afterward, in the spring launched the MV and original soundtrack on Tomato, QQ Music, NetEase Music, Pop Radio and other online media simultaneously, all of which aroused widespread and enthusiastic attention. Starting on June 11th and ending on June 15th, a total of 5 days. In the spring, has exceeded 100 million views on Wuxia's website. The charm of a classic song can withstand the test of any time and space, and will never be buried. In the spring, has such power. As long as there is the right opportunity, it will inevitably shine with dazzling brilliance. Chapter 82. Beijing, CBD Central Business District South, Global Building, 39th floor, Light Rain Media Company Limited. In the general manager's office, Dong Yu carefully read the thick financial statements. The coffee on the table was already cold. Light Rain Media was only established a few months ago. It was considered a newcomer in the industry. So far, the number of employees had not exceeded 50. However, with the development of the business, the work began to become very busy. Dong Yu had been working overtime. For her, to be able to take control of such a vibrant new company and then develop it was a wonderful experience with a sense of accomplishment. Knock, knock. The door of the room was gently knocked. Without waiting for Dong Yu's response, the person pushed in. Dong Yu didn't raise her head because she knew that in the entire company, only one person would do this. Light Rain Media's director, Su Qingmei. Miss Su. Su Qingmei held 2 pieces of printed paper in her hand. She quickly walked to Dong Yu's desk and said with a smile, "Sister Yu, the promotional results of the Bionic single are out. It's 100% going to be a hit." Because of the excitement, a charming bright red appeared on her pretty face, making her even more charming and charming. Dong Yu put down the report and smiled faintly. "We have invested millions. If we can't produce results, then I should resign as the general manager." The Bionics wasn't the first band signed by Light Rain Media, but it was the first group to debut. Light Rain Media Company was undoubtedly weak in this industry where the big shots were as common as clouds. Even though Dong Yu and Su Qingmei had their own family backgrounds to rely on in this industry, they still had to follow the rules. Therefore, the success of the first packaging operation after the opening was particularly important. For this reason, Light Rain Media spent a lot of manpower and material resources. Recently, the entire company was busy around the Bionics. Now they finally saw the preliminary results. Just the funds invested in online media accounted for 70% of the budget. Nowadays, the entertainment industry was incomparably closely connected with the online world. It had become the main battlefield for most stars to promote themselves. It was wishful thinking for newcomers to stand out without spending money to buy a position. Of course, the effect of spending money to a large extent depended on the strength. Dong Yu had confidence in the Bionics, or more accurately in the Bionics' new song, so she decisively released the Bionics first, instead of the North Needle band that was signed earlier. The 2 thin pieces of paper in Su Qingmei's hands bore the weight of her success and failure. The Bionics' lead single in the spring had 115 million views on Wuxia's website, with a favorable rating of 93.26%. Tomato Web, 73 million views, 95.2% positive rating. QQ Music, 15.6 million plays, 97.46% favorable rating. EasyNet Music, 12.77 million plays, 96.98% positive rating. Pop radio station. Such a result was so hot that it was scalding hot. It was inevitable that it would sell like hotcakes. Su Qingmei said proudly, "Judging from the data summarized by various websites, the online promotion of this song is the best this year." Both Usher and EasyNet Music hope that we can continue to chart. QQ Music has re-evaluated the download expectation of the new album and intends to negotiate with us again. She had no reason not to be proud. QQ Music was the largest music website in China. Relying on hundreds of millions of QQ users, it represented the trend of domestic pop music to a large extent. If it wasn't for the trend of In the Spring to become a phenomenal work, this industry giant would never have taken the initiative to renegotiate the contract with Light Rain Media. The original conditions of cooperation proposed by Light Rain Media were directly passed by QQ Music. How could a small Light Rain Media be qualified to bargain with them? Right now, even Dong Yu also felt proud and elated. She said with a smile, "Then take manager's song to have a good talk with them. Our first choice is still QQ Music." Nowadays, the entertainment industry is taking the route of idols and stars. What they earn is the fan economy. No matter how popular a song is, it is simply wishful thinking to recover the cost of publicity through online or CD sales. QQ Music has the largest number of genuine downloads. A paid download of a song is 1 yuan, and VIP members are 0 yuan. More than 100,000 paid downloads are hot sales, 300,000 is considered a big sale, and 500,000 is 99% likely to be their own ranking. Most people are used to using free online editions or free pirated resources. And for this little money, QQ Music must first take 50%, and singers at least 10%. How can they earn back the cost? In the past, in the era of non-smart machines, hot song ringtone sales were a piece of fat meat. Now who still plays with this? Therefore, the funds invested by Light Rain Media now must be recovered by the Bionics through advertising, notices, performances, variety shows and other channels and achieve profits. Of course, because of the huge influence of the internet, even if it is a loss, it has to be done. Su Qingmei beamed with joy. In the Spring is no problem selling well, and it will also drive the sales of the whole album. The other 2 new songs are also full of potential. Maybe we can earn back most of the cost by relying on online sales. Dong Yu sighed and said, "It's a pity that we failed to sign Lu Chen." When it came to Lu Chen, Su Qingmei's face immediately became embarrassed. Lu Chen gave a total of 3 songs to the Bionics and Sister Na, plus 2 of Qin Younghan's own original songs, a total of 5 songs to form a mini-album, which was the focus of Light Rain Media's current promotion. All 5 songs have been listened to by senior people in the industry. As the main song, In the Spring, has the highest evaluation. Sister Na's, I Want to Have a Home, and another song were also very well evaluated. Qin Younghan's 2 songs were barely qualified. For a mini-album, having 3 good songs is completely enough. What made Su Qingmei depressed is that these 3 songs were all written by Lu Chen, and even the single that the North Needle Band is going to release is the same. Thinking of the loss she suffered from Lu Chen, Su Qingmei always felt her teeth itch. Anyway, she knew that she can't be willful on this matter, so she pouted and said, "Then I will talk to him again. At worst, I will give him the best conditions. I don't believe that he won't be tempted." If in the past, Lu Chen's original works have not been verified by the market, there is still the possibility of uncertainty. But now, his talent is unquestionable and even coveted. The key is that Lu Chen has not signed a contract with any company so far. He is like a diamond that fell on the street. If Light Rain Media doesn't think of a way to snatch him back, I'm afraid that there will not be another chance in the future. For the future and development of the company, Su Qingmei can still put down her pride. But Dong Yu is not optimistic. That may not be true. I feel that Lu Chen will not sign with anyone. He will do it alone. How about, she blinked at Su Qingmei and said, "You can sacrifice your body for the company. As long as you can seduce this handsome young man, you can do whatever you want." "Sister Yu?" Su Qingmei's cheeks suddenly turned red and she said angrily, "You are the general manager. If you want to sacrifice, you should be the one to sacrifice." Dong Yu said with a smile, "I'm an old woman. He doesn't want me." As soon as her voice fell, Su Qingmei rushed over, and her delicate hand went straight to her vital parts. "Then I'll take it." Laughter rang out, and the office was full of spring scenery. At this moment, Lu Chen didn't know that he was being remembered and that someone had to sacrifice her body. He just received a call from Tianjai Music Workshop. It was Miss Anai, the business representative of Tianjai Music Workshop, who called Lu Chen. These days, in addition to early exercise, Lu Chen basically stayed at home, except for live broadcasts and sorting out songs. For the 10 songs of his debut album, he spent a lot of energy correcting the details to ensure that all the songs fit perfectly with the works in his memory, and sculpting the lyrics in order to achieve the effect of excellence. In addition, Lu Chen also wrote out the arrangement requirements of 10 songs, so that once a partner is determined, he can quickly enter the production link, saving a lot of time for communication. Most importantly, such work is also a process for Lu Chen to improve himself. He doesn't want to simply write songs according to his memory, and then casually throw them out to make money, becoming a moth lying on a mountain of gold. He hopes to become a well-deserved perfect star through continuous learning, digesting and integrating the spiritual wealth from the dream world. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.